Thank you, everybody, for joining us for a particularly sad occasion. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. Today, we come together to mourn a loss taken from us far too soon. A very special, very magical show that did not get the tenure on Broadway that perhaps it deserved or we would have liked for it. So, let's all come together in mourning, say a somber farewell to Rob Lake Magic with special guest The Muppets.
Woo! Rob Lake! Oh my God! I can't believe we got made it through our first week on Broadway, everyone. I can't believe it. I got the celebration Muppet. We got champagne. Rob Lake made it through a week on Broadway. We got a whole year more. Woo! Woo!
Max,
What's up?
did nobody tell you?
What are you
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
that's it, bud. That's it.
What,
No more.
no, you're saying like it's it as in like you. I need to stop bringing up the champagne and like the Muppet because it's like oh like that's inappropriate for the episode.
No, we're done. Like it's off Broadway. It's canceled. It's over.
Oh, it's no, it's off Broadway. Like it's the kind
Max,
of what?
the show's over. It just
Wait,
had its last performance.
wait, dude. You're telling me Rob Lake's Magic featuring special guest star The Muppets on Broadway is canceled?
I hate to say it, but it's
I'm
good. It's good that you're here
no,
because
dude,
now
no.
we
I
can.
quit my job. I was literally like, I need to go see Rob Lake Magic on Broadway, and I couldn't get off time work. And I was like, okay, well, fuck it, man. I just like Rob Lake's too important to me. The Muppets are too important to me. And so I just like, I canceled everything. I sold so many things to get to Rob Lake Magic on Broadway. I sold the rights to the podcast
You
and
sold the rights to the podcast.
and to Rob Lake. And I just thought that by doing that, we would have a better chance of either getting on stage or me getting to the show more times. I was going to go every day.
I really wish you'd consult me on these huge decisions that you make about the
I
future
got to
of the
get my job
podcast.
back.
But thank you for showing up at least, because as it
Yeah.
happens, we've got two wonderful folks here who are actually there to send it off into Broadway afterlife. Welcome to another episode of a Muppet Moment. Thank you
Woo!
for humoring us
Rob Lake.
with our opening
I'm
bit. Really appreciate
bits
it.
aside.
As usual, I am Will Mupdates.
Hi, I'm Max Muffin Man Max. A bits aside here with this thing. I Rob Lake Magic is unfortunately closed. I unfortunately never got to experience it, but we have two very special guests with us who did get to experience it. If they want to introduce themselves to the podcast.
I'm Joe from Muppetology.
I'm Sam from Muppet State of Mind. Hello. Thanks for having us.
Woo!
Yes,
Sam
thanks
and
for
Joe.
having us.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by the podcast. These guys, not only are they pals of ours, but they are also first-hand witnesses to the magic of Rob Lake Magic with special guest The Muppet, which is our topic of conversation today, as we all come together to feel the magic and remember a show gone too soon.
Oh,
Now, there are those of you in Muppet spaces who might not know what the actual hell we're talking about. So I think it's good that we probably give you a bit of preamble as to what the deal is with Rob Lake Magic featuring special guest The Muppets. Um,
so we keep saying Rob Lake featuring special guest star The Muppets because that was the full name of what it was called. I refuse to call it anything else. I have to say the full name every time. Um, but Broadway has always been a huge topic for the Muppets. Everybody is always like Muppets Take Manhattan was a whole movie about the Muppets taking Broadway, doing a whole Broadway show. Getting to Broadway has always been like a big goal within the Muppets. And it's always been a thing that's been rumored for a super long time. I think a lot of people who are fans of the Muppets have for years remembered that gossip newspapers for Broadway shows, all of those tabloids and stuff, has always they've always rumored about a potential Muppet Broadway show that has never yet to come until 2025 with Mr. Rob Lake Magic.
It was an interesting sort of turn of events because I remember the rumors being reported about like the Muppets are coming to Broadway, the Muppets are coming to Broadway, and it's like, sure. I'll believe it when I see it. And the whispers were that they were doing a full-blown Muppet Christmas Carol performance over the holiday season. So imagine the collective surprise of the Muppets community when the news gets confirmed in a way that you might never expect. Now, we've said his name a million times, but I think it's probably fair that we give you a little bit of context. Rob Lake is a stage magician who was, I want to say, a quarter finalist on America's Got Talent a fair few
AGT.
years ago. Um, very sort of talented stage magician, had a award-winning tour in the Bahamas, I believe, and has done a lot of
Atlantis Resorts.
wow. You knew the name of the resort. You're better research than me on Rob Lake. You're a
And
bigger Lake than I am.
Mr. Rob Lake Magic, he was inspired to do magic on stage by attending a magic show in Branson, Missouri. And I don't mean this as a judgment or anything, but I feel like that's very informative to the kind of show that Rob puts on. If you've ever been to Branson, Missouri, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like Vegas for like Mormon families, if that makes sense. It's like very like age appropriate. It's Broadway shows for like a very like family friendly crowd. It's that sort of thing. It's magic and safe things like that. But not
I'm
to say that Rob's doing anything safe. He's sawing people in half and disappearing motorcycles, but you know,
I'm
that's not a judgment at Rob, but I think it's informative to the kind of show that he does, not in a bad way.
I'm staggered at the amount of research that you did about it. That
Sorry,
was
did we not all research about fucking Mr. Rob Lake Magic? I thought this was the whole point of the show. Come on.
I forgot that you were doing a pop quiz at the beginning.
So
I'm absolutely
I
hooked.
I really had nothing. I had nothing to know about Miss. I know a lot about Rob Lake now, but it's only because I literally like I. It's been a wave of knowledge throughout this past few months of not knowing him to just like he's become all around me and all in my hemisphere in all directions. I think Rob Lake, when I heard about the show, and not to be judgmental. I'm not trying to because we'll get into the reviews of the show later in this, but I
Oof.
first saw this and I like want to be honest with my first thoughts and hearing about this. My first thoughts are kind of like I don't know, this feels a little bit like a corporate Disney decision. I don't know who this magic guy is. Maybe that's like wrong of me to like just make a judgment and like a big assumption about Magic Guy without like knowing much about it. But I was like, why Muppets with this magic person? I was like, I just want I my big judgment was more just like I want to see how it goes. I'm not gonna like jump to any super big conclusions. I just gotta find out more about Rob Lake. And that kind of is like why one of the reasons I wanted to bring Joe here onto the podcast because like I was like, who here? So a bunch of our Muppet pals, like our friends here who are all into the Muppets, it's like we all started talking about Rob Lake. We were like, who, like, what, like, who is this Rob Lake person? Like, we all started talking, and then there was one person that kind of sent off a little bit of a shock, a Rob Lake magical shockwave through us. And I think it was Joe Muppetology personally.
I think Joe,
A ripple.
if you'd be happy to indulge us, we'd love to go over the story of because we talked about it a little bit in our Momi recap a few episodes ago. But if you would be happy to regale us with the tale of how we came face to face with magic itself in old New York City.
And we just like
Yes.
didn't know him before. We didn't know Rob before.
We had no
Opinion about
idea who he was. We had never seen him in real life from the torso up. We really never did any YouTube video research or anything. We only just kind of knew what he looked like from the promo pictures and the previews of him sitting down. And so yeah, we were on the Momi Jim Henson birthday weekend walking tour around um, Central Park, and it was very exciting with all of our friends. And I happened to be meeting a bunch of different people, and through conversations, I made notice. I was with Michaela McMups over on Etsy, and
Yeah.
we were together and we were talking, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye like a very tall figure in a jean jacket, and I kind of noticed he looked or resembled Rob Lake Magic, and so I do what I always do when it comes to like celebrity interactions, and I
Which you
Why did
have
you pause, Joe?
you have no small amount of experience in that, to be fair.
yeah, I do try to meet I try to meet a lot of people that I enjoy their when people do things that I like to reach out and say hi. And I did my little song and dance where I'm like, "Hi. Um thank you so much for like bringing magic to the Muppets and the Muppets to Broadway. Could we take a picture?" And eventually told all of our buddies. And we all kind of just started walking with them and hanging out with them, and yeah, and that's really the only part that I had to play for that. There is a true inevitability. You know, we were always meant to meet Rob at the Momi meetup because of his great speech he gave at the end of the walk. I'm not sure
Oh,
when you wanted to go over that,
his
but
speech. So, well, I will right away say it is a key piece of Muppet Moment history, that meeting of Rob Lake, because Max snapped a really quick selfie with him.
Ah,
That's the only photographic evidence that I
okay.
have that I was in the same vicinity as Rob Lake.
So funny. So like Joe described like meeting Rob Lake here. How it came to me on the walking tour is that I was like Will was like, "Who's Joe meeting?" And then like Joe came to us and was like, "I just met Rob Lake Magic. I just met Rob Lake
well,
Magic."
I told Michaela in the moment too. I was like, hey, like, by the way, like, that's Rob. Like, I'm gonna go over and say hi, but like, we can't like freak out. I mean, because obviously we kind of wanted to be like, whoa, it's the guy from with Special Guest Star the Muppets, but at the same time,
The way
like,
that
It's
I
just
found
like
out was that Michaela ratted you out. I was like,
and that's
Michaela,
okay. No,
Michaela
we
was
just
like, "Do
couldn't
you know who
figure it
Joe's
out.
talking to?" I
that's
was
Rob Lake
like,
Magic.
"No, I don't."
Rob
And
Lake Magic's featuring Special Muppets.
she was like, "Doesn't he look like magical to you?" And like sly like that. And I was like, "No fucking
Who's this
way."
magical
Yeah,
man?
he was just hanging around, and he was really nice and genuine guy on the
Yeah,
walking tour.
No,
when I met him, it was like it was a sweet interaction. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm excited to bring the Muppets to Broadway." I was like, "Yeah, can we get a selfie?" And like I have this funny, like kind of awkward where like Will and I are like kind of like not in frame that well
like
with
leaning in with
Rob.
my fucking stupid Kermit puppet.
Hey, Rob. Also, it's like not that I think that he thinks I insulted him. I hope not. But like he was like, "Yeah, I love." I was like, "How'd you like get into magic?" And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I just really I really loved it as a kid. You know, I really love the Muppets." And I was like, because I'm not to like just over explain myself here, but like I feel like I'm from California. I talk like I live in Seattle now. I talk pretty Californian still. Um and I was like, yeah, dude, I fucking love magic, man. I was like, I fucking love that idea. I love magic. And he was like kind of caught off guard. He was just like, yeah, man. Me too. And I was like, cool,
Good for
selfie.
you. Good for you, champ.
I felt I hope he didn't feel like I was insulting magic because I was that's just how I talk, Mr. Lake. I'm so sorry.
It was just a laugh. The idea that he was just sort of like among us and among us. Sorry. Yeah, just the idea that he was there, just sort of like in and amongst like us Muppet fans walking along. It was like, oh, okay, well that's fun. It's good to know that Rob Lake Magic is kind of like at least a little bit about this life. But as Joe brought up at the sort of like the crescendo of this walking tour after we've made it to the Jim Henson Carriage House and we got to get our lovely photos with the wonderful Kermit puppet. We were all sort of gathered around the Kermit puppet after we had taken a big, huge group photo to be um to have Rob Lake sort of address the masses in reference to his upcoming show. And it did kind of feel like the Emperor holding court, like we were all We were all just in
Muppet
like a little
fans,
group,
come,
and he
come.
was there, just kind of like you could see the magic sort of like
Watch your
twinkling off of his
gesture.
fingers. Um, that was like, because like we were all there for that, which is
Hmm.
strange to think. Like, damn, we were all in the same place once. Now we're in four little boxes in different parts of the country. That's lame.
Hmm.
But yeah, I know from that speech, I was like, okay, I immediately feel a lot better about this because, as Max said, none of us were really sure how to feel about like the
Yeah.
Muppets Broadway debut being as like special guests to a stage magician.
I want
A stage magician that we didn't know very well.
See, since we didn't know him quite well, we were all on that walking tour and we got to finally meet Rob. Like we had all met him and had our interaction with him. But this is what he held court. And I wanted to ask our guests, like, I want both of their take on like what their opinion of the Rob speech, because to us, the Rob speech, quote unquote, has sent shockwaves to us where we were like, before not really knowing much about Rob, and then being like, Rob Lake Magic, who, oh my God, Rob Lake Magic. I just want to hear your takes on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you really captured it. The send shockwaves thing is really accurate, and I we'll get into this when we talk about the show, but especially on the last night, he gave a speech at the end where he talked about the Muppets, and in the same way, you were able to really see that he genuinely cares. Like collaboration aside, this being his job aside, he genuinely loves the Muppets, and you can tell when you talk to him about it, which is the best thing that you can take away from his show and from that experience with him, right?
Yeah, right. The ending speech was really sweet. It was like the cherry on top of the walking tour. Um, because it was at first it felt like a little Easter egg that we noticed him. But then it actually turned out to be kind of purposeful. Like that was his chance to leave an impression and make sure that um we would go see the show. I mean, it wasn't exactly something on our radars beforehand, but I think after that speech, especially even before we found out about the closing, we all wanted to make a weekend out of it, at least at some point
Mm-hmm.
throughout the holiday season.
Like I don't live on the west. I live on the west coast. I don't live on the east coast. Will doesn't live in America. When after he gave the speech where he gave his like passionate like I grew up with the Muppets. I love Kermit. I love all of these characters, and it's like a very I take it very seriously the role I have bringing him into Broadway. I was like, oh my God, all my East Coast friends, please, you better see this show and see it for real because like I again, not to be rude to Rob Lake here, I just didn't really have much opinion about it, and I was just thinking, I thought he was very nice when I interacted with him on the walking tour, but after he gave that speech, I was like, I think Rob Lake might be the next like bastion to like give the Muppets like their next. I was like convinced. I had like drinking such a Kool-Aid of like, dude, Rob Lake is genuinely going to like bring the Muppets back to Broadway in a great way because he's passionate and cares. And that's all I knew. Um, but yeah, and then also we ate sandwiches with Rob Lake in the Mommy. With I
Oh,
stood at a table with
See, that's
Rob,
something
and
you
we didn't
guys
make.
got to do, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, we did not get to do that.
oh,
What?
So
Oh my
okay.
so
God!
tell us about that. Wait,
Yeah,
what?
Oh,
please.
it
Oh,
wasn't
I
even
forgot
really
you guys
that
with.
special. It was just a thing
Yeah,
like because I was with my partner Mikey at the carriage house for a little bit filming of all things like trading card like pack opening with with Heather and Megan, Heather Henson, that the Heather being.
The Will Carroll
And then
packs, right?
huh?
yep.
The
Yeah, it was
Will
the
Carroll
Will
packs.
Carroll art card
Those are
pack.
Those
sweet.
are on my freaking in
Oh,
my
let's go. That's
Oh, hell
awesome.
yeah. And
Also, I just want to quickly say that Sam has the coolest Muppet background I have ever seen. If you're a video
Yeah.
watcher, you're getting a special treat
Thank
at
you. We'll
gorgeous,
be checking that
another
out
treat
all the
for
time.
those who watched via our YouTube specifically. Spotify listeners, we're gonna get some kind of treat for you in at some point, but video listeners, you always get the
You're getting
slight
a
better.
beautiful treat tonight. But yeah,
Thank you.
But yeah, so I had gone like me and Mikey had gone in an Uber straight from the carriage house when we were done there to the Mummy because there was the promise of some kind of provided lunch at the Mummy. And when you say like we ate sandwiches with Rob Lake, it was literally the least glamorous thing ever because we were ushered into the room where they had all of these paninis, and it was Rob Lake happened to be there while I really ungracefully like destroyed about two or three of these like lukewarm chicken paninis just because we had walked all around Central Park and across New
For
York.
hours.
The only food I had had doesn't even count as food because it was a brown sugar shaken espresso from Dunkin' Donuts. That was the only sustenance that I had had the whole day. I saw those paninis. I went straight for them. I went for the tiny little cans of Sprite, and Rob Lake just happened to be there, very politely eating a caprese salad, I want to say. So it's
See,
not even like we got to have like a special like lunch date with Rob, like a one-on-one like
no,
rendezvous.
Rob.
It was just like I was like at my most embarrassing, and Rob was in the room at the same time.
Yeah. So we all can probably relate that after the Mummy tour, we were sweaty. We hadn't eaten all day. We hadn't been able to rest all day. It was a fun time, but it was just go go go. But like, I get to the carriage house. And I get these little paninis as Will described, and I took the train over, and Rob Lake is just there, and it's like me and Will and like their partner Mikey, and I'm just like, Rob is standing across from us. We're eating these little paninis, and and I'm super tall, and Rob is also super tall. And it's just like this game of us like not making eye contact while we like eat our respective food because I'm like trying to be like, dude, all I've had today is like iced coffee and like hits off a vape that a Muppet also hit. And like then now I'm just like eating paninis with Rob, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of Rob Lake Magic Muppets. Oh,
Well, well, we
I'm
bring
so
up that he
tired.
was
Oh no.
we bring up the fact that he was there, but I think we kind of glossed over the fact that it was kind of cool that he was there for like the whole day, like the whole festivities, like the whole walking tour, and then stuck around and watched the screening as well. And it was like it was nice to see that like somebody who was like ushering the Muppets onto New York stage like this was actually like
He cared.
willing to stick around for all of the festivities. Like
Hmm.
that was just cool to see. It was just cool to know that like, oh, Rob's like hanging is one of us, essentially.
Hmm. Imagine if he stayed for the karaoke at Pig Beach.
Oh my
Oh my God, he
Ima-
should have. I would have like done like such a duet with him. Like we were all by the end of the night, we were all
magic
singing
tour.
together. Like everybody was in there. Like I want to get Rob Lake doing like, oh, 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 it's
Um,
magic.
Rob, can you please sing Magic by Charlie Wilson, please?
Can we do
Please.
can we do Houdini by Dua Lipa? Can we do a little duet, please, Rob?
Because Sam just brought up Pig Beach. We had this insane karaoke night with Heather Henson, all of us. Sam and Joe here kind of were the ones that convinced Heather to do karaoke in the first place. But Rob Lake was there. That magical presence. I did he show up to Pig Beach? Did he make an appearance?
I don't
I don't
recall.
know. That wasn't on my radar, but we can edit a photo from Pig Beach with him in the background. We have
Yeah,
enough photographic evidence of him now.
More for the visual viewers. Here's your poorly photoshopped Rob Lake image.
Yes, Rob,
Speaking
spill the
Rob.
of
magic.
He
speaking of
magically appears
this,
in the background.
speaking of this, I think we need to address the magical elephant in the room, and it was what happened in the fallout from New York after this magical encounter with Rob Lake. Something happened in our friend group that has changed it permanently. And it was just our immediate hard-hitting like fascination with Rob Lake as like an entity. He became such a part of like our inside jokes and such a part of like our group chats. He was just like so frequently mentioned and brought up. It was like we became so fascinated.
So after the tour, we had a lot to talk about with like, we met Heather Henson and we saw all these Muppets and we had all these cool experiences. But there was something that never left our minds. it was a guy named Rob Lake Magic. And it just kept eating at us. Like every time we would get on a call, it would just be like this little group here plus a few people just being like, we gotta figure out more. What this guy was very nice. But what is the aura around Rob? Like, what is the whole show? What is that? And
What's your
Joe,
deal, Robert?
what's your deal, Robert? Joe Muppetology started like putting like Rob Lake magic streams where we would kind of just like
Yeah, I found his YouTube videos and I actually referenced them during one of the shows that I saw. But
That's crazy.
he has a bunch of just available episodes and full-length shows on just on YouTube. So if you're interested, I honestly, I've been thinking about how you can probably piece together the show with maybe what some of the stuff that is on YouTube because I know that some of the his he has some very iconic acts like which we'll get into later, but
Mhm.
he does his iconic acts really well too. So yeah, you can still check them out on YouTube.
Not to spoil the show, but there's one that was put on for us that I heard didn't make it into the show, and I was devastated. It's the one where he laser beams himself in half, and it's just
yes,
A
his
that's my
giant
favorite
freaking
Rob
laser
one.
beam.
and he is a torso and jeans, and that wasn't in the Muppets, the Muppets version of his act, and that keeps me awake at night.
A
I'm
little too
almost
raunchy for Muppets Broadway. Rob Lake was pushing a few too minutes. The critics were like, Rob Lake,
Rob Lake
get
takes
away
off
with
his
that.
pants in front of the Muppets.
Rob Lake takes off pin. That would have been the review.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Joe started streaming the Muppets, like not the I mean we do watch a lot of Muppets, but he started
We
streaming
do.
Rob Lake magic clips, and we just kept
Yeah.
watching them, and it turned into like minutes upon minutes into hours of just watching Rob Lake, and then every single like interaction ended up just becoming Rob Lake magic fitting into every single word and every single part of our vernacular. Like anytime we'd play like a game, like a Quiplash Jackbox thing, Rob Lake is being brought up every single time, not as an
Our
insult, but
names
as
on
like
Yeah.
Jackbox
Rob
are
Lake,
like
Robertson
Max
now.
Lake Magic,
Max
Joe
Lake
Lake
Magic.
Magic.
And like it slowly became like an ironic appreciation of Rob Lake, like not in like a bad way, but like we didn't really understand him. We met him, he was pretty nice, but it was like, oh, who's this Rob Lake guy? We'll check this out. We started watching more, and then slowly, like I woke up one day and I was like, this is actually this is actually pretty cool.
Pretty good.
I,
Hmm.
I don't know you guys, but this seems pretty hard to pull off.
I
You
can't think
do
of many
that.
brand name magicians today, and um, his run in AGT is pretty like commendable as far as getting your name out there. I mean, we'll go into that when we talk about my interaction with him at Comic-Con,
Oh my God.
but um, yeah, I'm glad that it was him because he has he definitely has a massive amount of respect. Like that's what his speech really told me was that he has a massive amount of respect for like Jim Henson, the Muppets, and like their history. And I was really happy that it was like him of people to be able to kind of steward the Muppets to Broadway in that in the way that he could, because he had respect for them and appreciated them. So
Like
yeah,
it wasn't the person we would have expected, I think it's fair to
no.
say. But like if I'd much rather it was that like it ended up like this than it was like I don't know. Like somebody who like juggles. And it's like juggling act featuring the Muppets or like National Theater, like gritty remake of like Shakespeare where everybody's in like vests featuring Special Guest The Muppets. Like I if it was like a big flashy magic show, it might not have been how we expected the Muppets to come to Broadway, but I would argue that like especially when we'll get to it when we talk about the show, some of the tricks, it's like wow, the Muppets fit really well into this. But the last thing I want to talk about in terms of our fascination with Rob, and it's gonna tie into Joe meeting him at Con. One image that Joe dug up in particular that we've become very fond of, that if you've been watching, we've referenced a couple times already. It's a picture of him like doing some kind of promo for America's Got Talent, and you can tell because it has the giant letters behind him spelling out America's Got Talent, where he's doing now. I've mentioned this a couple times before, but I am a cosplayer. And he did a pose that is like a joke in the cosplay community. Like when you run out of ideas for like poses during a photo shoot, you like reach out towards the camera in sort of like a wistful way. And he was doing this exact pose where he's like Rob Laking reaching out to the camera in a very magical manner. Um,
Doing a really like cunning smirk where it's like, yeah, I'm about to win America's Got Talent. It's a very magical pose. I'll give
Mhm.
it, I feel like that's very magical. And
indeed.
like magic shows in the Muppets, I had a thought when we had like started kind of watching Boy Rob like Magic, and like Joe pointed out that he was like a good steward for the Muppets. I think like Will and I had actually like we had said that in our like Moby episode. And we had kind of said something similar, I mean, in like Rob seemed nice and like he had an appreciation. That's what the speech said. And as we watched it more, I kind of started to be like, you know what? The like vaudeville type humor of the Muppets, not that it's all that, but that like kind of like that kind of structure and that kind of like basis. A magic show, I don't know, man. I feel like magic shows are practical effects. I feel like magic shows are like a thing of old that people don't really like appreciate anymore, but there is a generation that cared a lot about those. And like I don't know, I really like I I started liking Rob. I was like, this shit's pretty good, man. I was like, damn, how do you do that? How do you put that motorcycle over there? Like what?
There's
No
a reason
way.
that last song is called Magic Store Max.
Magic store.
Foreshadowing Rob
Oh
Lake.
my God. I can't believe Jim Henson was like foreshadowing Rob
Can you
Lake.
Wait,
imagine
do you think
a young Oklahoma resident, Mr. Robert
Comes
Lake,
up to
witnessing
Jim
that
Henson.
song and finding a love, a joy of
Oh,
magician magic tree?
they should do
for
like a Muppet Babies type show, but like as like Rob Lake as a baby doing magic
yeah.
tricks.
Okay. Well, okay, we
We
need to
should get
talk
that
about
Him, like little baby Rob Lake. Fully
at
like,
guy.
the
little
at the end
baby
of
Rob
this.
Lake going up to Kermit, like being like, "What? Now that I'm a kid, I want to be just like you."
Wait,
Oh,
See
dude,
how
oh,
he says it?
we should get this
The
going.
little
Somebody
promo.
make art.
When I was a
wait.
kid, I wanted to be just like you.
At the end of two things, at the end of Kermit's swamp years, it's like Kermit, like young Jim
He
Henson
meets
pulls
little
out.
Jim Henson, and then a
Young Jim
post-credit
Henson
scene where he meets little
is
Rob Lake.
yeah, no, but it's like Jim Henson meets like Kermit, and then a young Rob Lake is on vacation in
Oh,
Mississippi and leans his head out the window and is like a talking frog. That's real. That's real.
when I grow up, I
Rob
want to be
Lake's
just like
grand,
you.
yeah, Rob Lake. And he's like, that's really cool. And that Jim Henson kid, I see the mail he's getting right now. His name's Jim Henson. He looks pretty cool.
You're
And
you're
I like this
you're putting a
That's a
little bit
really
too
good
much
way to do it.
emotional stock in Kermit's swamp years right now.
because no, it's gonna be Kermit Roberts swap years.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the second thing I wanted to bring up is that that's like at the end of the podcast, I have to tease like when we get to the very end, I have to tease my little Rob Lake silly thing that I'm working on. There's a little, but we'll get into that when we plug our things at the end.
Oh goodness me. But so we've talked a lot about like Rob Lake as an entity. We talked about our initial meeting him. But before we get into the show, I want to talk a little bit about Joe's interaction with him at New York Comic Con.
So, I had the wonderful opportunity of getting to go to New York Comic Con 2025 this year. I love going to conventions. I go to them all the time. I go sometimes with work and sometimes I go just recreationally. This time I was actually able to go recreationally, so I got to do whatever I wanted and get to see any panel I wanted. And that led me to the big Broadway nerd panel which happened on Saturday at New York Comic Con, and that had a bunch of Broadway stars. I know that the woman who played Boop, or Betty Boop in Boop, Jasmine Amy Rogers was there, and she actually sat right next to a certain one Mr. Rob Blake Magic, and
A
he was the
magical
reason I
man.
was at the panel was to go see him, and I did, and he talked. Actually, it was a question and answer style panel, so there was a moderator who just asked questions to the Broadway stars. It wasn't questions from the audience, and so honestly, that's actually the second time I've been to a panel like that. I kind of like those panels more because the questions that the audience can give sometimes trips up the celebrity guest. But yeah, oh, I love moderated panels because it's just rapid fire question, rapid fire question. We learned all about Rob's like love for Disney. He talked about his favorite superhero because we were at Comic-Con and his favorite superhero is Doctor Strange, which I thought was really funny because
Because it's
he's
the
he,
magic.
he's a master
It's because he's
sorcerer,
magic. That's
um,
actually
and Rob
really
Blake's an illusionist, so it
that's
really works perfectly.
I feel
Magical.
Um,
very connected to him at this moment because one of my first cosplays ever was Doctor Strange.
oh, that's
My
cool.
my like cosplay at is Mr. Doctor cosplay, which is like
Yeah,
a
wait.
reference
Oh,
to a line
wow.
from
Oh
Doctor
my
Strange.
god.
That makes sense.
I feel very
Okay.
connected to
That's
Rob
so
Lake at
cool.
this
Oh,
moment
wow.
in
Well,
time.
I'm happy I got to share that info with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really
Rob
awesome
Blake.
during the panel. He just talked about um his favorite they also asked what his favorite Disney Plus show was, to which he responded WandaVision, which I was like, "Oh, that makes sense because it's like it's also sort of illusion
Hmm.
based. There's a lot of illusions in
Magical as
that show."
well.
And it's
Could have said the
yeah, it's
Muppet
super
Show, but
magical.
could have said any of the Muppet shows that are on Disney Plus. Could have said Muppets Now if you wanted.
Yeah, but I think the superheroes were on the mind because it was a
No.
Comic-Con panel and oh my gosh, and if you looked into the crowd, there was probably one of every five people was dressed as a superhero.
Yeah.
Big Marvel Rivals like cosplay group. I think there was a meetup actually that day, so that's probably why. But yeah, they asked everyone's favorite theme park. So not specifically a Disney theme park, but Rob said that he liked Tokyo Disney Sea. And I
Ooh.
was like, oh, I've never been there.
Same.
I think someone had mentioned to me that that's like a good choice. I've
Hmm.
never, I would know. I haven't been, but yeah, he was really awesome during the panel, and he just was genuine about how excited he was for both his show, but also Broadway itself. I'm not exactly sure where he is based in the United States, but wherever he is, he definitely has just this like really strong sentiment, really strong positive sentiment for Broadway and theatrical shows as like a medium for entertainment and storytelling and provoking feeling.
Hmm.
So, so yeah. So then after his panel, I kind of ran. I scurried up to the to the front to try and get an interaction, ask question. And I was with my friend who was dressed up as Zatanna, the magician from
Oh,
DC Comics. So that definitely helped me get
fucking that. If there's
Rob's
gonna be
attention.
any
Um,
cosplay to meet Rob Lake, and it's gonna be Zatanna. Like, come
I
on.
know, right? Oh my gosh, I should have dressed up as Constantine. But whatever.
Yeah.
Continuing off that, someone in front of me who was talking to Rob had Kermit Converse sneakers on. She told him that she had been following him since his time on America's Got Talent and was so excited that he was teaming up with the Muppets to bring magic to Broadway. And I could not believe that had occurred. It was a magic moment, a convention,
Wow.
truly magical convention moment.
A true
And
AGT fan.
yeah, right. I was like, wow, okay, so like, we're not, it was like a we're not alone type of thing. Actually, there were a ton of people that walked up to Rob after the show and wanted to talk to him and talk about the show. I got just a small interaction with him, but I just kind of walked up. I was like, hey, it's me. I was at like the walking tour. You were so cool. Like I told him that me and my friends really you grew a like a big we grew very fond of you since the walking tour. Those are the exact words. I chose my words very
Yeah.
wisely.
He's like, "Look,
And
look,
We
we made a whole
bond.
like we made our whole our
I
whole
promise
deal
the
your
group chat's not
existence,
Yeah.
named
your
after
show."
you.
We
Um,
didn't say, we've actually started obsessing about you and we've started putting you in all of our vernacular, but no, keep talking.
um, yeah, and I asked him after I was like, "Can we take a photo?" And when we were taking the photo, I asked him, "It's like, hey, can we take a photo like this, like we're reaching out to feel the magic?" And we
Telling the
did. And you know what? We
magic.
felt the magic. It
That
happened.
I want
Joe
to get that
telling me.
tattooed. Felt the magic.
I did. I felt the magic at Rob Lake with Special Guest The Muppets on November 16th, 2025.
You telling me that story for the first time where like because you showed us the photo of Rob where you're both going like that and I was like
Yeah.
how did you get him to do the America's Got Talent stock image pose and you just told him could we just like reach out and
You
feel the
reach
magic?
out like you're feeling the magic because it's what you're doing, right?
Dude,
That's the point of the photo is
you
to feel
think
the magic.
The
you
way that
think
the term feel the magic became so like set in stone for like our whole deal about Rob like I know in my stupid little like tribute post to like the passing of Rob Lake Magic, I cited that the cause of death for Rob Lake Magic was that they felt the magic too hard and accidentally disappeared
Yeah.
off Broadway.
It also stemmed from me not wanting to walk up to him and say, "Hey, I saw this picture on your website where you're reaching out to the camera like this. Can we do this pose? Can we do that
Yeah,
pose?" No, it's like,
we're
"Hey, like let's just feel the
hey, can we
magic."
feel the magic together?
Yeah.
Also, like,
Yes, I guess that's a tip for like the listeners, for celebrity interactions. Just think
yeah.
it out, be
If you want them
normal.
to do a pose, just ask them to feel something, a sense of
Ask
what
him
they
in a
do.
normal way.
hey,
Yeah.
can you
Don't.
feel this thing with me? I think Rob like Magic. I don't know. I hope he's not like why like he Joe was the first person to do the outstretched hand Rob like Magic America's Got Talent pose, and suddenly the every person in our friend group and beyond, it seemed there seemed to be just like this avalanche of Rob Lake photos with people taking their hand outstretched. Do you think Rob is like what caused this? Like
He
like did Joe do this or did
Damn,
colored.
like
do that
people
again.
all find him? Why is the American? Does he? I think it's funny that the America's Got Talent Rob Lake thing, not in a mean way whatsoever, has become like a meme in this
Yeah,
little
and
section
you
of the
know what?
Muppet community.
We'll go over this later. And it's funny that you bring that up because it's actually a part of his branding. As far as like yeah, as far as like the merch goes and how he does magic, with his illusionists and he is like, very expressive with his arms and very animated. Um, that like we kind of did him a solid in that regard, where that reach out pose is actually something that like is a part of like one of the if you are making a guide, onboarding guide for Rob Lake with Special Guest The Muppets. Rob Lake reaching out to help you feel the magic. It's probably, hopefully, something in there. And if it's not, maybe they'll put it in. But
Oh
Do you
my
think that you
goodness.
could make like a PowerPoint for onboarding for that for us?
yeah, sure, we can do that at PowerPoint night. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that
For
at
anyone
Rob
PowerPoint
who
night.
wants to
Lake
get into
featuring.
Rob Lake and doesn't know where to start.
Yeah. For anybody who is getting into Rob Lake, just this is just your step-by-step guide. Oh my
The
Yeah, and I
goodness.
Rob
think
Lake
the
HR department is like everybody is confused on what Rob Lake is about. We need Sam and Joe to figure out
Yeah.
this fucking thing.
Oh my goodness. So from not knowing who he is to meeting him at the walking tour to Joe feeling the magic at New York Comic
oh, and it was
Con.
standing room only at Comic Con. Sorry, I didn't even mention that. I was one of the last people to get into the panel room, and I had floor seats, as in you sit on the floor or you stand
Oh my
up
God.
or lean on the wall.
You
So
had
it
barricade
was
for Rob Lake.
it was packed. I was
Dude,
very surprised.
I
I'll
got
send you
paid at
pictures
Rob
too so that you
Lake.
can put
You
them
were
up when we're talking about this. I'll send you all this stuff.
you were in the Rob Lake mosh. That's crazy.
Bro. Yo,
Yep.
bro, I can't find you. Are you in the pit at Rob Lake?
Me at the Rob Lake panel, like, no, like I finna be in the pit.
Yeah, bro.
Original sentence.
Oh Jesus. Oh my
So
goodness.
like
Anyway. So
I'm
from
so happy that Joe is able to get their their question out to Mr. Rob like Magic here, because like if it's that packed of a thing, it's like I feel like, as we'll get into later in this podcast, as we'll continue, um, we keep having these kind of lucky interactions with Rob, where we get these kind of, it seems like after the walking tour and after Comic-Con, it seems like magical moments with Rob Lake Magic continue.
And it was all of these moments that built up to the previews. Now, I want to say that you both attended different previews or the same preview were you both at?
We went
Previews are
separately.
all Sam. Previews are all Sam. I was on a work trip during preview night. And
Oh,
I'll
so
mention that. That's actually something I
No,
told Rob the first night I went.
oh
Rob, I
man.
want
and
Previews
he
are all
didn't change
Sam.
the schedule. He said, "I'll move
No,
something around."
I sadly couldn't.
Yeah, the preview nights, there was so obviously with any Broadway show, there's a lot kind of writing on that, in the sense that like Broadway used to be this thing. I know that like there's always been a struggle to get things on with like the kind of like with Broadway Corp, like production companies and all of these things. There's like a lot of like it's hard to get things made. I understand that. But we're definitely like living in an era where like the internet spins so quickly that things can just kind of like opinions can be taken so seriously so quickly without much thought. And there's kind of like Broadway shows get affected by that all the time. And like there was kind of a lot writing on the previews. And like I will get into what people kind of thought of the previews later, but like we have somebody who has a first-hand account of what the preview might have looked like for this magical, magical, magical night.
Magical is definitely the key word. I will say that I went on the second preview night, and there wasn't really much of a difference in experience between the preview night and us seeing it closing night, other than during previews, Rob made a statement before the show that was like, "We're still working the kinks out of this, basically. So there might be a time where we need to pause. Please bear with us." Which they did have to do one time when I was there, but it was only for a few minutes. Um, and then he just continued on with the show. Other than that, besides it being just like more smooth by the last show, it was pretty much the same. There was one part that was missing from when we went as compared to the last one, but it was a pretty cool experience going there. We went, it was the second night, like I said. First night, a lot of guests were there. There were more people attending, like of note. Heather Henson was there, obviously. Um, when I went, it was kind of funny because it feels like every time that a section of the show is completed, you could kind of see like Rob and the crew and everybody like a sigh of relief over them. They got over this one chunk. Now on to the next part. Um, it was surreal watching it in person, though. Seeing the Muppets on stage for admittedly not a big chunk of the show, but seeing them,
Wow.
seeing Rob obviously in his element, magical. Like it was crazy.
So
I have a question for you, Sam, before
Sure.
just about your preview night. Did you see during the canon moment, did they have, was it the same as closing night?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty
Like,
much.
is there a specific part that you're
Because
thinking?
apparently, according to some of our friends who were at like the first night, there was like a paper um prop that was used.
Oh, to shoot through,
Yeah, to shoot through,
right?
yes.
I
Yes.
don't think that was there when I went. I saw the picture,
Fox
but
Media.
that wasn't there for me
Yeah,
either.
so that's just something that happened during previews and they probably were just like, this doesn't work or
Yeah,
this
what's
is
going on with that picture?
too much to manage. So you know what? It's better just gotten rid of. That was my one question about your preview night. Sorry, yeah, Max,
No, but
take it
but
away.
I didn't even think of that until you said it,
Sorry.
and it like it takes away from a layer of like energy in the moment because without it, it's just the cannon and then the box. You know what I mean? There's no
Yes.
like transfer of motion without the paper.
I honestly thought they were gonna hawk Gonzo across the
I,
stage the first time I saw it.
yeah,
I was kind of excited. I was like,
Somebody's
oh,
just right behind the
here you go.
curtain. Yeah, throwing them like a football.
Yeah, I like when the Muppets kind of ragdoll whenever they're thrown. It'd be
Mhm.
really... I
Exactly.
could have done
I
it,
was fully
honestly.
Yep.
expecting
Wait,
that.
that's not what happened? I heard that Gonzo got shot out of a cannon. I thought they were just like they
So,
fully flung the puppet across the stage.
do you
No.
want me to like talk about it at this part, or should we wait?
Yeah, do you want us to get there or do you want us
Yeah,
to
I
like
would actually personally love
you
to
probably want us to
hear
get there,
it
right?
because you mentioned the canon scene. I would love to hear it. I would just want to quickly say that like the paper scene in the Rob Lake Magic show with the paper out of the cannon, that's going to be lost media. This can be
Yeah.
lost
Oh
media
yeah.
one day. That's like with defunct roller coasters where it's like this thing used to have this thing, but it
Yeah, like
didn't
the Yeti
work,
used to
so they
move.
took it out. Rob Lake Magic used to have the paper, but now it's gone. Yeah.
That's so good.
There's got to be some kind of like Rob Lake slime tutorial out there, like Muppet slime tutorial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
Someone
has
someday
to have
someone's gonna
recorded during the
discover a
pre-season.
video of the full
Not that, not that we condone it. I think Rob Lake should be consumed
no,
the organic way, but
but to be
somebody,
fair,
maybe somebody listening wants to hit us up with any links,
Anybody?
perchance. You
to
it,
be
with,
fair, both nights that I went, they did not make any type of announcement that said "don't record."
so
And
there's plausible deniability. They're like, well, you didn't tell
right,
me not to,
That is
so
true.
right. The
The
And
night
there's
first
I
not
night
went,
even
I
a
the
went,
first night
phone.
I went, they did.
oh really?
really,
Yeah. He said,
damn.
That
please,
was just
he
a
was like,
rule for
everybody
me.
take out your phones and now put them away. He actually had us
Mm,
all light up our phones for
You
him.
know, it
that's
They're
seems
like,
true.
make your
like
phone
Okay,
super,
Rob,
super
you're cute.
bright.
You got jokes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a good one.
on the Momi tour, they kind of did not the best job being like, "Hey, don't post about this Kermit." And at the Rob show, Sam's like, "Hey, we didn't tell us not to record this shit." So
Yeah.
I feel like every time I see the Muppets recently, they're just kind of like, I don't
You
know,
can record it
man.
if you wanna. Just don't tell me you're doing it.
Also, it's
Whatever.
like we've referenced this canon scene. I gotta know what the canon scene
Yep.
what was that? I didn't hear what that
So
was.
there
It
were
was like
it happens a
it
few
was
times.
teased. It was
Yeah.
teased throughout the show
Yeah. They
that
wheel
Gonzo would
Gonzo
be
out
shot
in a
out of a cannon.
yeah. They wheel him out a few times and he's like, it's time for me to do like my trick. I'm gonna shoot out the cannon.
And everyone's
And
like, "Whoa!"
yeah,
Oh yeah, everyone
exactly.
freaks out
Everybody
every
starts
single
cheering.
time.
Right.
Like, of course.
Yeah,
And
it's
then for some
Gonzo.
reason Rob's always like, let's wait actually. Let's not do this right now.
This is true.
So they
This
do
is
that
very
twice,
true.
I think. And then he finally does come out. He gets ready to get shot out of the cannon. He does a countdown.
And they
And then
stopped the countdown.
they stop the countdown, yeah, because his leg cramps up. Um, and then he goes to do it again. And there's like a big smoke effect, a light effect, and he gets shot out of the cannon and hits like a wooden crate that's floating, not floating, that's like chained up above the stage that has like a target that's painted on it. And Rob's like, Gonzo, Gonzo, are you okay? And they bring the crate down. He undoes the crate, opens up, and Gonzo's standing like full body inside of it.
Yeah,
He's
well,
like,
he
ta-da!
mentions that he's going to jump over the audience, grab a playbill, and leap into the box over on the stage. And so when he appears, instead of we saw like a clean Gonzo, when he reappears, he is like Looney Tunes dusted with like black soot, 'cause, like as if like he was cartoonishly shot out of a cannon, which he was. And he's covered with gunpowder, and he has a little playbill in his hand. The way that it's puppeteered, he's just kind of standing there. It's
I didn't
really
even notice he
cute.
has the playbill. That's so
That's
cute.
Yes, he does have the playbill. It's mad funny. It
That's
was really funny.
awesome.
Well, I like the way that they kind of integrated the theater setting into some of like the Muppet sequences. Are there any other Muppet
Oh,
sequences that were kind of like part, like where being in the
oh,
theater
Miss
was like
Piggy
a part of
drops the name of the theater that it's performing at. She's like, the Broadhurst.
it?
So
They missed
that's
out on like a Broadhurst joke.
Mm-hmm. She also calls Rob Lake her favorite body of water, which
Rob
is
Lake, my favorite body of water.
I can't agree more, Biggie.
She also calls
Oh,
him Robbie and Robert.
yeah.
But do you want us to go
There
through
is
the show
yeah.
from the
There's
start?
a tension between them.
I would love it. I would really, I think this whole podcast, I've been extremely waiting for like Joe and Sam to kind of tell their story about like what it was like the whole trip to go into Rob Lake, like both like all the times you saw. I want to hear the full tale because it's like this thing. We'll get it. Like we said at the start that this thing closed. You know, this thing unfortunately passed, and we are so sad about this thing's passing. We have people here who went multiple times to Rob Lake Magic in the thin amount of time. In many years, people are going to be like, what was this thing that lasted a week in like 2025? What the hell was that with the Muppets? And it's like, well,
Rob
how
Lake.
tell you?
There's a
We were
name I've
there.
not heard in years.
This podcast is archive of lost media, and we need to hear the stories. Is there anything more, Sam, from preview night that you had that like was like special or like insane that happened?
Um, I don't think so. I think that we'll cover most of it when we talk about the closing night.
Mm.
Um, like I said, I think it was mainly the coolest part about it was just seeing the reactions on the cast and Rob's face as they like went through the show, being like, "We're actually doing this." Because at that point, it was only the second preview, so they hadn't done this enough times for this to be like natural to them, and they wouldn't do it enough times anyway since it closed early. But um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We can just get into the last show.
The biggest kind of question that you don't have to answer it right away because I think that's going to be kind of a bigger emotional question that like we get into in the last show here. Two so I have two things to say. The first thing is the kind of a more emotional one about asking you guys like how it felt to see the Muppets in person on stage being puppeteered by some of our favorite puppeteers. Like that's gonna be like for people who don't know with Rob Lake Magic, some extremely talented and very important puppeteers to our childhoods and our upbringing and just people that we respect deeply. A lot of them took time off of their jobs. They put a lot of time into the show and really believed in the Rob Lake Magic show. And even though it had a short run, like these people put a lot of effort into it. Like but Noel McNeil was puppeteering in this show. And if you don't know who Noel McNeil is, he was Bear in the Big Blue House. He was Bear. Like, are you kidding me? Like Bear was puppet. You get when you went to Rob Lake Magic, yes, you would get to see this like kind of spectacular magic show, but you would get this opportunity to see some of the kind of best working puppeteers do their thing. And it's just very like impressive to me that Rob Lake was able to wrangle all of these people and get them to like be there. Like there's like it's like it was Noel McNeil obviously,
Well,
but then
I
it's like
actually am able to reference it directly as I have a lovely gift given to me
Wow.
by our lovely guest Sam, a playbill from the show. And I
Yay!
believe
thank you,
upon my
Sam.
initial inspection of it, and I will double check again, I believe I'm correct. Yes, I am. The puppet wrangler for Rob Lake Magic with Special Guest The Muppets was none other than Peter Linz, who is one of the like
A
more
fave.
prolific current
Oh, I
Muppet
love
performers
Peter Lynn.
who originated most famously probably the character of Walter in Muppets
Woo!
2011.
Woo!
Walter
Love
is the
Walter.
Muppet Wrangler for the Puppet Wrangler, Muppet Wrangler, however you wanted to call it, was the one sort of like wrangling the puppets, as the title would would suggest. But you had like seasoned Muppet performers and like puppet performers who were like really believed in the show and were really dedicated to getting these like because I it may shock people to know this, but they didn't have all of the like the Muppet performers there on the night.
I don't understand why people thought that like
It
guys.
was it was wishful thinking, but no, Matt Vogel wasn't there every night. Eric Jacobson wasn't there every night. Dave Goelz wasn't there every night.
Like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, I think there's kind of it's like when people go and see the Blue Man Group and they're like, I saw the only Blue Man Group. What are you talking about? Like, this is the original
That
one.
is an
Like,
operation.
Hmm.
like what are you talking? Like, this is the original guys. Wait, you're telling me that there's different Blue Man groups? what the hell? It's like you're telling me I'm watching Rob Like Magic the Muppets and there's different guys in under these puppets instead of the people I know. This what? What? No, I think it's extremely cool that yeah, like Matt Vogel and all these people weren't gonna be there, but like you're getting to see Noel McNeil and Peter Linz's advice. It's like you're getting like some like I'm very, very impressed with the lineup that they got. So it's like I've seen a lot of criticism that they didn't get like the guys for it to like actually puppeteer it, and that it was with like a like the people who usually play the Muppets to like perform in it, and that they were using like a pre-recorded track. But I think it's like the puppetry work from those people who are so like impressive with it. I think it kind of just like it speaks through. It speaks through in the performance, regardless if there's like the track or not. Like
Mhm.
personally, I wasn't there.
Well,
Like that's what I feel like with those guys with their talent.
Well, Max, there's only really so much that you and I can say about this. You and I have had a lot to say about this show. I personally am going to hand it over to those who were in attendance for multiple shows, whether it be preview or whether it be closing. I want to hand it over to Joe and Sam to tell us just what your impressions were of the show.
We got to get into it. We got to get into
Yeah.
it.
So I went after it was announced that the show would be closing. I didn't get to go on preview week, and I wanted to wait until a couple of our buddies wanted to go as a group. I know we wanted to go like around December 5th, and that obviously won't happen, but
No.
And
nonetheless,
let it be said that we made this plan to go as a group,
yeah, oh
a few
yeah.
of us that were in the area. And then, like, the day that we confirmed what day we were going to buy tickets, I think either that day or the next day, they announced that it was closing.
Yeah, it was very soon after
They did not.
our like, okay, we're doing this day. And then they were like, yeah, no, you're not. And
Mhm.
Mhm. No.
Last tickets now.
Yeah. Luckily, we could rally, but
yeah, and so I was able to go on Thursday of last week. I went with Leah Makes Mayhem over on Instagram, as well as Safety Pun Petrie
Yeah.
on Instagram. That's Leah and Allison, our two buddies. And our friend Sawyer was there too. That's Leah's husband. And yeah, so we went, we saw it, we felt the magic. It was a really fun show. Um, as far as magic goes, it was a very good like introductory family magic show with when you're doing a Broadway program with special guests The Muppets. That's a pretty solid kind of start. Um, were the Muppets in it? Yeah. Were they in it as much as I wanted them to be? No, but they were in it enough, and each of them kind of had a chance to have a little spotlight. Every main Muppet, every Muppet on the pin set had a moment to shine. The only other Muppets that there was so wait, Sam, let's one after another do the Muppets that were present.
Oh, there they
Oh,
Okay,
are.
so we know
okay.
Kermit, yeah, right? Kermit,
Fozzie,
Gonzo,
Miss Piggy,
Animal.
and Rolf.
Yes, and that
yay!
rounds it out. Yeah. And that actually kind of goes from most speaking roles to least and then no speaking
Least being
role.
zero. Yeah.
Least being zero. Yeah. And that's okay. It was still cool to see the puppets present and kind of animated. I go to the Museum of the Moving Image over in Astoria, Queens a lot, and so I'm only used to an inanimate Rolf. So it's nice to see an animate Rolf, an animated Rolf.
Well said.
I would like to harken back actually to Rob Lake's speech. I realized I'd forgotten to mention this earlier. In his little speech, he sort of let us be aware that his favorite Muppet was Rolf. So even if Rolf didn't have, I feel like that must have been a decision from him because even if Rolf didn't have a speaking role in this, he featured in some way, shape, or form, even if he had no business being
Mhm.
at a magic show. They found a way to get Rolf in there so
So
that
what of
we
this
could have.
magic show?
Yeah. If I can
So I could have
also bring
so I
up
could
something
be
that
there
he
for
said.
my favorite magician.
Rob Lake.
He, that same day at Momi, we forgot to say this earlier too. He also did let us know that like the Muppets are in the show, but it is his show first and foremost. They are guests. They're not really in it that much. So we went in
We went in
with
knowing
that
that.
knowledge, which was very kind of him to tell us. And that's like a common complaint, obviously, that people had that the Muppets aren't in there. But I'm glad that at least he didn't try to like pull the wool over your eyes and say that it was a Muppet show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Like,
it's like
because
obviously people in this like day and time, we obviously want more Muppet projects. We want the Muppets to be more involved in things. It's like they mean a lot to us. We want to see them like in more successful projects. But like the fact that Rob Lake, like it's kind of people are saying as kind of as a criticism that he used his pull within the Disney company to get the Muppets on Broadway. But to me, I kind of feel like, why can't like there's so many people that they do these like little Broadway shows. It's not like it's like that thing's gonna last forever, but it's like why can't like the Muppets just have like a little like this guest appearance in this tiny little thing? It's not a huge commitment. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't define any of these people's careers or projects. Like it's like I just feel like obviously I would prefer a show in general that just has the Muppets more featured. I think anybody would, but like I want to see like Noel McNeil puppeteer. Like this is cool. Like I want to see
Yeah.
Kermit. And I've never gotten to see them puppeteer live. Like that's insanely cool.
hmm
That
And I
was
also don't
easily
think
like
it's like, oh,
the
sorry,
big
Joe.
highlight. But no, sorry. That's all from me. Yeah.
No, you're good. It's also like, it's not like it was either this show or something else. This was here, and if this wasn't here, then we wouldn't have the Muppets on Broadway in general. It's not like one or the other. You know what I mean?
yeah. So obviously people were like theorizing when it was like the whispers of the Muppets coming to Broadway. It was like, oh, okay, so they're gonna do a full-blown show because like that's what you would expect and want from the Muppets. And I don't think it's fair for necessarily for people to get mad at this show for existing because it's like, okay, were they going to be doing anything else with this? If somebody has the ability to put the Muppets on a Broadway stage or set the precedent for the Muppets being on a Broadway stage, it's like obviously you're allowed to be disappointed if that wasn't what you were expecting. But so many people, and I saw such like vitriol towards it. Like people weren't even willing to give it a chance. Like, yes, I didn't know who Rob Lake was when the announcement was made. Yes, I was a bit confused. But like, I don't know, I felt like we all had an open enough sort of like mindset towards it where it was like, we don't get very much. We don't
hmm
get very much Muppets, man. I'm just glad that they're doing something. And like,
hmm
it's not typically what you'd want from the Muppets. You're used to having the Muppets be like, it is the Muppets, and then special guest somebody else. The
I
Muppets
have
don't really like it, and it's kind of happened a lot in recent years where like the Muppets have been like features and stuff. Like they feature in like the Game Awards, and there was that like science education video that came out recently. The Muppets have been features. I think we all yearn for a time where the Muppets are the stars and we get people featuring in Muppet stuff. But like at this point, if it's something as elaborate as being able to go to a stage show and even getting some like Muppets, why like grumble and grouse about that?
Right.
It's gonna be okay. The sun's gonna come up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think like I feel like people in one are kind of having a lot of vitriol towards Rob Lake himself, where it's like this Muppet thing isn't being successful and it's like Rob's fault. And it's like everyone can have their opinions on like what how the show went and everything. I have like kind of like three quick things to say about that. And it's like people are kind of blaming Rob Lake. I'm not sure if that's fair. I think there's like a lot of reasons a show can like not succeed. Broadway is a very like it's like hard to get anything on, and it's hard for anything to stick. And I think there's shows that look even more successful that have closed quicker in the past. Um, but also like when we were on the tour with Rob, like on the Momi walking tour, and we heard his speech, he specifically referenced and said, "Look, guys." I know it's not Muppet Christmas Carol on Broadway. I know everyone is expecting like this huge Broadway show where there's this Muppet production. And he's like, I can't get that fully. And like, I understand that. And I understand like how people can be a little disappointed with that. But like, I'm going to do my very best with like the tools that I have to like give the Muppets a chance to just be there. And I'm like, that I think is very sweet. And the fact that he took the time to like actually like say that and articulate it in that way, I feel like says a lot about like at least the earnestness from him and the team and everyone in the production to like make this like magic shit to make this magic show happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just think Rob Lake, I think Christmas Carol, everyone was expecting that. People were expecting Muppets Take Manhattan. I like, getting we can talk about in the future the whole Sabrina Carpenter special, like in later episodes and all that and all in future discussions. But like the people were I'm excited that there's at least some buzz around the Muppets in general right now, and it seems like that people are working hard at Rob Lake, and it seems people are working hard to get this thing produced. Like I just feel like there's a lot of people who are working within the Muppets who are like trying right now, and I think people need to give some credit in that direction.
This all just reads it was all very well intentioned, and the sometimes best intentions don't always succeed, and sometimes beautiful stuff like this closes way before it should. And on that note, I think this would be a lovely time for us to hear about the big finale, the big grand finale of Rob Lake Magic with Special Guest The Muppets, of which both Joe and Sam were in attendance. I want to hear all about it. What kind of magic did you feel on such a magical evening?
Sam and I got to see Rob Lake in person twice each.
Twice.
That equates to 4 instances of feeling the magic. So do you want to run through the show semi quickly for the audience of the Muppet Moment podcast and for the sake of future Roblings who want to learn more about the show and Rob Lake Magic himself?
Go right on ahead. The floor is absolutely all you guys'.
Thank you
You
for
got
our
it.
Rob Lake experts, because this is future preservation for all future generations to Rob Lake
Yes.
it up. Thank you to Joe and Sam for your service.
Yes, and I'm holding a playbill so that I can have like a psychic
Ooh.
connection to the instance of the
Oh
theater.
my
Yeah.
God. Uh,
Yes.
uh,
Sorry
So
for being you're the only one
yeah,
playbill-less,
I
Mac.
went to
That's our
both
bad.
an evening show at 7 and then a matinee show, like
I
the
got this.
closing show. And is that what you also did, Sam? Or
Yes.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it starts like right on the dot, actually.
Hmm.
I did hear like the bells in the merchandise line for like, all right, go to your seat, please. But as far as like sitting down, like when the show starts, like it starts. There's no like, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Lake Magic with special guests the Muppets will begin in 1 minute. No, it was none of that. It just lights down, big sound, TV turns on, and what happens, Sam?
Uh, what happens is you start to there's like a thunder sound effect, I think, right?
Yeah.
We start to get some music. That sounds a little bit like Joe. What does it sound like?
Oh yeah, sorry. No, no, no. So then, no, doesn't he like it's like doesn't the TV go down and then appear upward?
I thought the music was happening during the TV. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and
So yeah,
then
there's a
he
TV, black
appears
TV
and
screen.
this is the best of the real ones plays,
This is the
and it's
best of
and
the
it's
real one.
There it is.
and it's Rob, and it's him presenting his show. The curtain falls behind him, and he says, "Thanks for coming to my show. Have a great rest of your night." And everyone laughs.
And we all laughed.
Um,
He's so
Actually,
funny.
the first show I went to, everyone kind of like died laughing when he said that. And then the second show like was kind of a little more like somber, but I don't know. The second show was also way packed,
Mm.
because it was the closing one.
Mm.
But yeah, following that, is that when Rob talks to Kermit the Frog over TV call? No, it's not. Oh no, he
Not
talks about his magic, right?
no. First, he does the
Take it
the
away,
moving
Sam.
head trick.
That's
Uh,
right. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So he puts one of his term. He calls them his babes. Um,
Okay, the Rob Lake babes is a term that I've been using a lot recently, and I don't mean that derogatorily, but it's
not
just
at
like
all.
that's what he calls them.
His
Mhm.
lovely
Babes.
assistants.
Right.
All
Uh,
right, babes.
And so
This is the best of the real one.
he puts one of his babes in a box and he just rips her head clean off, basically.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so he
And
puts
puts her on
the
the other
box on
side,
her head, and then he
and he
puts a
makes
thing
us all
through it.
watch. Part of Rob Blake is that he's kind of sadistic. He likes
He
to.
makes the move. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Actually, I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that. Yeah.
He can bring people to life and also take that life away, and he does it on stage for you multiple times.
Yes.
This man is playing God before your eyes.
Mm-hmm. And we're all just watching.
godlike.
We paid to watch this.
Sick and sadistic. He puts one of his babes in a box and rips her head clean off.
This
that thing
psychopath
that's like,
Rob Lake playing with human
shoot her
life.
head smooth off.
Oh my god. That's really
He takes her head smooth and puts it back. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So he
And
does
yeah,
all
okay.
that, and then a TV appears on the stage.
Yeah. So then a curtain
And on the
curtain
TV
falls, comes up. Kermit the Frog.
Yes,
Everyone freaked. So
Kermit
the first night I
TV.
went, everyone freaked out when he appeared on the TV. The second night, on closing, right? Did no one really like did
Not really
anything
much of a
when he
reaction.
appeared?
Well,
Right,
not
until
when he
they
was on the
actually
TV.
appear.
Yeah, so Rob basically says like, "Hey Kermit, like I'm on Broadway, like
Hi, Rob.
why don't?" Yeah, he's like,
Hi,
"Hey Rob,
Rob."
how's it going? Like I'm so happy for you to be on Broadway." And so then Rob's like, "Oh yeah, I just wish you could be here with me. If only like I'm a magician, so I can do that." And so they pull the curtain out of the TV, it goes up, and then everyone does like a whole thing, checks behind, and then there's a whole taxi, like a classic New York taxi with four Muppets in it. Four Muppets.
Five.
Muppets?
Five Muppets. Yeah, five Muppets. There's five Muppets on it.
Shoot 'em off.
We'll name them off one by one. So Kermit the Frog was driving.
And Fozzie Bear is there.
Whoa!
Yes, and Gonzo was in the back seat as well.
Oh my god!
And next to him is Rolf.
Yes, and in the back holding a box of pizza is Animal.
That's fucking incredible.
Yeah,
Very
and they
New
each
York.
get maybe like 1 to 2 lines of dialogue, and they converse with Rob.
And then Rolf and Animal disappear and never come back for the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's the end of their visual appearance. The
Yeah.
curtain falls and they drive off.
Hey.
There's like a audio cue where they drive off and then crash into an alley.
And
And
he goes
and
back to more
Fozzie
murder.
remarks that to Kermit that that cowboy is dressed like you, in reference to the naked cowboy of Times Square.
And that
Which
got
was
the biggest
really
laugh of the
good.
whole
Punchy
show,
Rob.
I think, right?
Sorry?
So very New York
That got
about
the
it.
biggest laugh of the whole show.
That honestly, that always gets a huge laugh at every show.
And it is delivered. It's very funny when you hear it.
Do you think
Oh,
on the
Kermit, that
last?
cowboy's dressed like you. And then,
Whoa!
yeah. It was
Do
really
you think
good.
on the last day when people didn't really like applaud when Kermit came on the screen? My theories are two things. One, that people were sad that like the thing was like ending. Or two, people are like, why is he on a screen? I think like I probably would have been like, he's gonna come eventually, but people were probably like, okay, dude.
Yeah, third choice option, the secret option. What if the people that were there that day had already seen it and they were just waiting for him to appear?
Like, where's the
Yeah.
frog?
But also,
Yeah.
I think that people were just waiting for him to be like in the
Give
felt.
me a real puppet.
And so the Muppets leave, and then it goes straight into more murder.
Yeah.
Rob Blake cuts the lady in half and makes two
Yeah, he brings two guests on
volunteers
stage.
watch
The whole thing.
the accomplices.
What?
Oh, good God.
Wait, so he
Sick
cuts her in
individual.
half,
And he's funny
he
with
just
it too.
smiles?
He makes a whole light show out of it. He's like, "We're gonna saw
Yeah,
him in
he
half,"
is.
and he says it right after bringing the woman on stage, and all the lights go onto her, and then also when he's like, "We're going to also put a leash on the person that's getting sawed in half," he goes up to the guy and he's like,
A
"Can you
leash?
inspect this for me?" And it's like kind of funny.
Rob Blake.
yeah.
What a
Yeah, so
freaky,
And then he
like,
always says, just like the one you have at home.
Rob.
yeah, he said
Yeah.
he asked too. He's like, "Is this just like the one you
He's a
have at
freak.
home?" And so it's like, yeah, he gets funny with it, and so
Yeah.
right
But wait,
before
can I interject
no,
one
yeah,
thing?
go for it. Take it away.
I think it's really funny, and we've talked about this, that if Rob doesn't like it if you are one of the guests and you talk too much.
Yes,
He
I was at
looks
a show where that
visibly a
happened.
little bit annoyed.
Yeah,
And
wait,
one of
so
the guests was hamming it up, and he was not having it, I don't think.
were
He's
you
like,
there
hey,
at a show where
hey,
that happened?
is this
Yeah.
Sam with Special Guest The Muppets? No,
That's crazy.
I
No,
Yeah.
don't
because
think so.
It's
at
just
my show, he literally said to the person on stage, I don't remember giving you this much dialogue in the
Yeah.
script. And we were just like,
That's so funny. He's so sassy.
he's
And
very
He's gonna
okay.
he's
improv
gonna
sass.
kill that guy after the show.
yeah, right.
Like
And
he
also
could
it
have
seems
gotten
like
away with it if Piggy was on stage with him at all times, you know? And it
Mhm.
was just like, this is my show.
Moi?
the first night that I saw it, it seemed like there were a lot of lines that he said that were off the cuff or improvised. And I didn't find out until we saw it again that those are all scripted events. He just plays it off really well. Like somebody jumps on a table for a trick and he stops them and he's like, no, nobody's actually ever done that before. That's crazy. And then the same thing happened on closing night and he reacted the same way. So I don't know. He's nice with it like that, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
he
cheeky.
knows what to say. He knows how to sell the sauce.
He's a cheeky chappy.
Yeah.
What a little rascal.
And then so what
Rob
happens after he
Rascal
sells
Lake.
the lady?
Is that the first instance of canon tease? No.
Canon cheese.
Oh yeah, the
I think
Gonzo
it is.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So throughout the show, Gonzo is rolled out with a cannon, and he tells Rob, I'm gonna shoot myself out of a cannon, and Rob's like, no, not just yet.
He's like,
And so
oh,
then he
No,
leaves.
no.
Yeah. The main thing is that the Muppets are very sparsely like used. They're mainly used in between bits.
Illusions.
Right. They're very
Yes, there is
rarely,
no
like, that's the point
there
of
is no specific illusion with the Muppets outside of them disappearing and reappearing somewhere else, whether that be over a Zoom call and then onto the stage, or in one place and then another,
Mhm.
or yeah, right. That's the only instances of like Muppet
Yeah.
magic. I mean, there is an instance of a card trick with a Muppet, but that is also over a video call, so it's not
Yeah.
necessarily it's not a tangible
Yeah.
do
part
you
of the
think
illusion.
that like they put the Muppets in every now and again as kind of just like almost like baby sensory? So it's like
To keep
so
your
it's every
attention.
it's like
Keep your
oh
attention
so you're
during
not
the
vibing with the
transition
magic
between
Right.
Muppet.
yeah.
No.
During
They're
the
still
transition.
here. You thought
Mhm.
they weren't gonna be here, but they're still here.
So
Yep.
you weren't
Yeah.
dazzled by that trick. Could I interest you in
Well, I think
In Kermit the
something
guy,
Frog.
to
perchance?
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I think there's
Um,
something to say about our viewings of his YouTube videos and how those tricks were already present. The not tricks, sorry, the illusions we saw during the Broadway show were also present in the YouTube program. So it's also possible that he has these illusions already. If it ain't broke, why fix it or why break it?
Well, it's
Um,
kind of an instance where there's probably a lot of people who are getting their first exposure to Rob, like either by like being a regular Broadway goer who's not seen him, or by being a Muppet fan who doesn't know of him. So it's like bring out like all reliables, like why not?
I feel
Mhm.
like most people going into this don't know anything about Rob Lake. I feel like all the Broadway reviewers, I think Muppet fans, I think most people hadn't seen that shit. I think he was probably safe to do the motorcycle trick, you know?
Oh, for
Mhm.
sure. We'll get into that when we get to that trick. The difference between being on a mezzanine and being in the orchestra for that trick,
Monumental.
it almost kind of makes or breaks the show,
Yeah.
depending on like how you feel. But what happens after Gonzo's teased?
I think that's when our friend Chris Muppet Stuff went on stage.
Yeah,
Right?
so then
That's when
they get people
Yay!
from the
Let's go,
audience, and
Chris!
Yeah.
thankfully, Chris from the Muppet Stuff blog, um, he was actually picked. And apparently, how did he catch it, Sam? I wasn't with you, so how
He
did he catch it?
so Rob threw a bunch of frisbees out
Yeah,
into
he whipped him too.
hard, like
Yeah.
an MLB pitcher. So like maybe I think like 8 or 10 people caught a frisbee, including Chris Muppet Stuff. That frisbee was made for him. Rob threw it, beelined right for the face. Chris grabs it like this.
Oh
He
my
got
God.
it. That one was made for
That's
him.
awesome.
No one else was getting that frisbee.
Wait, were you guys sitting near each other?
Chris was sitting the one row directly behind me, Ashling, Shelby, and Michaela. Like he was like the seat in the same row as me, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Me and
And
Allison were
also,
in the
let me just
mezzanine
say,
for that show.
Chris also clocked who they bring like a celebrity guest on stage for like one of the last tricks. And Chris didn't even know who this girl was. He just saw her in the audience before the show and said, she looks really fancy. I bet she's going to be the one they bring on stage. And she was. He called it.
I have a
It was
funny story
crazy.
about the guy that was brought on stage at my show, though, so we'll get into that when we get there.
Okay.
Oh my
So yeah,
God.
they bring him on stage and basically
And they
they just have a lot
basically they do a whole like he's going to disappear and reappear, but we're gonna put people in every possible place he could sneak back onto the stage. So there was a platform with stairs next to it, and there was a person behind him, underneath him, to the left of him, to the right of him, on the platform, on the stairs, to the next to the stairs, on the outside, and on the outside. Am I missing any positions or
no,
no?
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they basically had him completely surrounded, and he gets on a FaceTime call, which is then bounced to a screen. There are two screens on the thing on the stage, and he walks out into the hallway, and he asks everyone, "Please clap." Not really, but
Jeb Bush,
there is
please clap.
literally an instance where he's like, "And in order to know, like, if we're good, I need to hear applause." Now, please applaud, and then we'll all be like,
And we're all like,
yeah, and
yeah,
then so it's funny, and so then he disappears and he reappears, and honestly, this, well, a big, there's a, what, sorry, a curtain is draped up, and then it's draped up and then dropped, and then Rob is there,
he
and is
appears.
on FaceTime still with the other call.
And bless you.
Thank
It
you.
was crazy. I haven't been to any other magic shows besides these. I don't really want to know how the tricks are done.
No, me neither. There's some
He
magic
at
to
least
it,
does a
but
good job of keeping the illusion up. Like, if you want to believe that that happened, you fully will. There's no reason for you not to, which is cool. And a credit to
yeah.
him.
I
So
feel like
that was a really good trick.
I feel like you have to treat magic shows like a Disney ride, where it's like, yeah, I know this thing isn't real, but like you just like
Yeah, let's have fun with it.
just have fun, just sink yourself into it, like just
It's
like
no different than watching like a fantasy show or something. Like, you're just
yeah,
suspending your disbelief for entertainment purposes, which is fine.
literally.
Um, and then from that, he I think did the sand trick where
Yeah,
he
so
pulls
he does
different
the
color sands
Pharaoh
out of a
trick. Yeah,
jar.
so he
That's
brings out a
kind of like
bowl of water and
yeah,
sand, and he says that the pharaohs did this trick for the
that,
pharaohs.
The Pharaohs.
he says it's so
The
weird, and he says it
pharaohs,
so
yes.
many times. He goes pharaohs, the pharaohs of
And
ancient
so
Egypt.
he basically the trick is that he is putting his hands inside of water, and the water changes color, and then he summons babes, and as the babes walk out with different colored sand, he grabs the sand and drops it into the water and continues mixing. And then he asks, like, "Here, I will bring out like red sand," and he
This is
perfectly
really
pulls
what he
out like
does.
red sand from his white water from the wet water, and continues mixing his hands in the water. So it was really interesting, as far as like uh that one goes. And it was always
Yeah,
funny. He asks someone from the audience for a color to pull out of the uh the
the
fish
jar.
bowl and the
Yeah,
jar the fish bowl, and
the Rob Lake jar.
everyone, he always asks for an
That's
interesting color before
hilarious.
just pulling out like yellow or something, and it's always really funny. So
Like,
yeah,
Yeah, it is funny.
so then I
Uh,
want to say that that's when Fozzie appears.
yeah, Fozzie does like a little stand-up
He
routine
does a
in
small
one of
stand-up
the theater
routine from
boxes.
a balcony. Yeah.
hmm
aw.
And a valid criticism that we saw from one of the reviews is, why wasn't that Statler and Waldorf? And once I
Yeah.
heard that, it's like I can't go back to not wanting that, you know?
Thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's
but
right there.
It
yeah,
should have,
and it's
yeah, like
understandable. Like, there's a lot of constraints in the production, and who knows what they wanted to do and what Disney either approved or denied. So I would like to see like what the original vision of the show could have been, but
they're like we would have Statler and Waldorf, but Rob Lake's gonna get his feelings hurt, so we're
yeah,
good.
Yeah, I have a feeling that
Just
like
gonna
the
be like,
people on Twitter kind of took care of being
yeah,
Statler Waldorf for the show.
yeah.
yeah.
He's got his own
Maybe Statler
online Statlers and
the Twitter reviews
Waldorfs.
along the way. Yeah.
And that's okay, but
So yeah, he did. Fozzie does a bit, and then is that when he does the lottery ticket, or is there something in
I want
between?
to say that
I think it is the lotto ticket one.
I think, yeah, because he does a bunch of audience participation ones, like one after another
Yeah.
after another.
Yeah.
Kind of to like keep up the momentum with everyone. Like, hey guys, like this is like let's have some fun. And so then so then he does a lottery ticket question where he throws a ball around and he attempts to connect with the audience. And so here's a funny thing that happened on my first going to that. I witnessed the final throw of the ball. So the way the ball works is you're throwing the ball and you connect with Rob through magic,
Through
and
magic.
And you say a number that
you
he has
say a
beat
number
into your-
together that you're both thinking. And so the final person that got the ball was this more mature woman at the show, probably with her family. And this guy kind of happened to maybe catch it too, if not slightly later than her,
Ruh-roh.
but also kind of rip it from her hands like
No!
a thing. And that was okay, you know. We were like, oh whatever, like he just gets to say a number.
At least it wasn't a
But
child.
then
Like,
but then the last part of that, which is why I was so excited when a certain person in this call got picked to go on stage, was
something
that
about the
they bring
lottery
the
thing is
final
exciting.
ball, you bring the final ball up to Rob, and he invites you on stage. And so when they invited the guy that ripped the ball from the woman's hands on stage, me, Allison, and Leah were just like, oh my God.
He's like, yes, fuck
Literally,
yeah,
though, I was
No
I
so
love Rob
remorse.
funny.
Lake.
We
No
couldn't
shame.
believe it. We were of all the times for that to happen, it was the one that you get pulled up on stage. So it was so
That's the
funny.
time.
Humiliation ritual.
Yeah, dude, that's like that guy has no shame, and that's like the dude at the baseball game that's like shoving the kid over to
Oh,
be like,
and I can
yeah,
actually say that
whoa.
literally was no shame in that. And it's whatever, but it's from like the. I mean, I personally, like, would I have wanted to go up on stage? Yeah, sure. Would I have ripped it from another person? I don't
Do you
think
think
so.
Yeah,
Do you think Rob
exactly.
like he gets up on stage and then like he hears in his mind like Rob's communicating through him through magic, just like, yes, you stuck the ball. I
This was
told you,
this was
you
meant
did
for
what I.
Yeah, well, he
you.
needed, yeah, it was meant for him for the number, yeah.
Good, my
But yeah, so
thrall. Steal
so
that ball
so the
from him.
craziest part of my second showing, the second time I saw this trick, was that Sam went up on stage as the last person.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
So
got
what was
real.
that
Yeah, he
like?
did.
the lotto thing is extremely exciting because we have the freaking
We have
lotto.
the lottery ticket.
Oh yeah, the
Oh my God.
lottery
There
ticket
it
is
That's the
is.
Rob
exemplary.
Wait,
Lake
okay,
lottery
wait.
I
ticket.
need the full
Yeah.
picture of how this whole thing transpired.
So the second to last person caught the ball, and they were like 2 rows ahead of me. It was just mom. And after she said her number, she just kind of like went like and like threw it behind her, and I was like, this is my moment. So I just grabbed. I didn't have to pull it from any other person's hands, thankfully. But
Thankfully.
I actually beat the hell out of Ashling to get it.
yeah,
Give me
I
that shit.
I get really like stage nervous, and like I don't want a lot of people looking at me. So like my legs were immediately jelly when I was standing up. So you have to stand up, and you're on the jumbotron, and he's like, we're making a connection, pick your number. And I'm like looking over at Michaela, I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. So I say my number, which is my lucky number, which is 16. And he's like, all right, why don't you give me that ticket, or like give me the ball back and come on stage with me.
Oh,
I get up and go, and I kind of blacked out at this point. He was like, do you play the lottery? And I was like, no.
No, you said you
He was like,
didn't.
well, you should after tonight or whatever. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to Rob. Come on. And he
What
was like,
person
I
am
have
I?
this lottery ticket. Yeah. He's like, I have this lottery ticket on the bench that's been up here. And I want you to read these numbers off. And if one of the numbers is the one that you called out there, like stand up in the audience.
Yeah, the group, each audience member, everyone in the audience around the person who got the ball was then a member of their group and would stand up when that number was called on the ticket.
So was like Shelby and Michaela and stuff, were they able to like stand up and be like,
They were
whoa?
group 16 with Sam, yeah.
Yeah, and you had
Yay!
at
And
least a few
same
of
with
them
us
on
on the mezzanine, actually. We were also group 16 with
Yeah,
Sam.
because you
So
guys,
I got to stand up with them too.
yeah.
I was like,
So
yeah.
I got to read the numbers out, and um, the final number comes on. It's 16. Everybody's freaking out. Rob's freaking out. The guy with the camera is like, "You can keep that ticket, and you can go back to your seat." And I was like, "Thank you, I will."
Thank you so
Um,
much.
um, so I sat back down, and I like I said before, like I blacked out. I really do not remember much of what happened during or after that for a good amount of time. But it was crazy. I've never been picked for like one of those things before, so I'm glad that I am now
Yay.
a part of Muppet history in some way. Not
You're
Muppet
part
history.
of the Muppet, the timeline of
Poor
Muppet
choice of words.
historical transpirings.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
like,
That's
I
it.
think it's insanely cool. Two things. One, that you were the last person on the last day of Rob Lake
Hmm.
to be on stage with Rob. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. That's like a very, very, like, who else is ever gonna have that experience?
Hmm.
And also, like, yeah, like that is like such like an insane thing.
Yeah, I am very grateful to have done it. That was a very lucky moment. Um, and I will cherish this little lottery ticket forever. This is
Yeah,
like
right?
the best
What
piece of
was
merch I could get.
what was like it like being on stage, like being next to Rob? Like what was it like when he's
Yeah, it
like,
was a packed house too. Like, what was that like?
It was
yeah.
you can't really see that far out because of the lights. The lights are
Hmm.
very
Very
blinding for
bright,
the
right?
audience and for the person on stage. Um, and also, like I said before, Rob doesn't. I don't think he really knows how to like interact with somebody on the stage very much. Um, so
That's
like
not bad.
after the numbers were called, the person with the camera is like, "Show the ticket on the camera." So I'm trying to show it, but I couldn't see the jumbo. So
I
I
saw the
didn't know
video.
where
He
to
like
put it.
grabbed you.
Yeah, Rob grabs my wrist and like moves it, and I was like,
Ow,
ah!
Rob.
It's like, okay,
Crushing.
do that again, please. And
Please, Rob.
yeah,
Harder,
like
Rob,
Rob, not
next
in front
time.
of all these people. And
Rob.
yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And then like after jumping ahead a tiny bit after the show, like people kept walking up to me and they're like, "Oh, you were on stage. That was awesome." And that was really cute. Um, but yeah, very glad I got to do that. Very grateful. And I hope that I am an ambassador to everybody else that loves Rob Blake and they also felt they were on stage in that moment. You guys were on stage with
Woo!
Oh, for sure, honestly. No, real. When you and also Chris Chris from Muppets Up, I think we mentioned that earlier. He went on stage
yeah.
too at an earlier instance, when
Yeah.
everyone went on, when not everyone, but a bunch of people got picked to go on stage. And I did predict both of those. You can ask Allison. But yeah, no, seriously, like it was so cool to see like some of us get on stage because when we went on Thursday, we really, really wanted to get on stage and we did not end up going up, but that's okay, because it was fun. And then, but the next one, right? I want to say there was like a barrage of audience participation, illusions because I wasn't the oh no, the next one had to have been the kid, right?
Oh
Now,
yeah,
because
the
now we're
little
gonna
kid
get a
that
kid
wants to
from
be a
the
magician.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because throughout the show for the other instances of audience participation, he specifically says he needs not um a a child. He needs a grown up. So wait, was the next one? Was it I can't remember if it was the canon tease, the rings, or the kid.
I think it was the canon. Um, and so the
The canon comes out
Joe had
again, and
mentioned,
he's like, no.
yeah. He comes out a second time, and they make him wheel him back, and then he does the rings.
Yes, and that's when he's
Which
like, okay, I need three adults, and so he picks
yeah,
three adults from the audience, and he collects their wedding rings. He asks us all to go like this to him,
Feel the magic.
and so we feel the
Magic
magic,
hands.
and he grabs the rings, and he does this thing with the rings where he puts them together, and they interlock, and then he like lets them
he
dangle.
shows them all dangling like a key ring,
It's
and then he
insane.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool, honestly.
That's
Like,
Oh
how
It
yeah,
do
is
no,
people do
it
that?
was crazy cool. We were very excited.
Is the
How much
next
how
one?
much more Muppet participation was there? Because like
Yeah, I was about to
obviously
say
he's
we're
got
hearing
his own.
about a lot of Rob Lake.
We've got
Where's
a
the
Yeah.
lot of magic,
Muppet
but
during
that's
all
Then
of
you're
this?
getting the real experience because
yeah.
that's what
You're
it was
getting the
like
real
in
experience, man.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
Um,
podcast isn't called a magic moment. We want to
right.
know how much more Muppet stuff there was.
So there's the final Gonzo canon moment where like it was teased twice, and then he finally does get wheeled out in
Or
the
does
can.
wait, when does Miss Piggy make the FaceTime call?
I think after that, that's during the when Kermit's on stage.
Oh, okay.
Um,
FaceTime calls. Come on.
yeah.
And
So Gonzo finally is able. He says he's gonna shoot out of the cannon, right? Fly through the
Yes.
audience, grab a playbill, and come
Grab
back
a
on
playbill.
stage. Right. And there's like a big wooden crate hanging above the stage. So they do a countdown. He gets down. He goes like 3, 2, and then he stops because he has a leg cramp, and then resumes the countdown. Gets shot out of the cannon. Where there's like this
Prematurely,
big,
right? Because then we go
yeah,
5-4 and then it just happens.
right. Which causes Rob Lake to freak out. He's like, Gonzo, what happened? So Rob Lake runs over to the crate that's hanging, pulls it down, and opens it, and Gonzo's standing where the crate was with the
Yeah,
playbill in
he's
his
all
hand.
like powdered up with gunpowder from the cannon, and he has a
Was it
playbill
like
in
a
his hand, and he's like,
Yeah. And they
was it
go,
like a full
ta-da!
body Gonzo
Yeah.
puppet?
He looked
it
so cute on
was.
stage full body. It was
Yeah, he was
adorable.
adorable.
Yeah.
oh, bless
Little
him.
feet out, everything. It was so cute. um, so that happens, and then that's the last Gonzo appearance. And then they open up to like a bigger set that's Kermit sitting in like a director's chair or like a just a high chair. Um, and him and Rob do a trick together where they bring a guest on stage who's different every night. It's like a celebrity guest.
So yeah, this is a special guest.
Our night was 2 women from Broadway that are in O'Mary and in Heather's.
And
Oh
Heather's, yeah.
shit.
Wait, who was on your first night?
Um, another woman from Broadway that I had never heard of before. I don't remember. Oh, she's in Hadestown now, I think. I don't remember what her name was, but
Um,
um
Joe, you mentioned
Yeah, so
something
I'm gonna tell a
funny
quick
about your
story about
guest.
my guy. Yeah, okay, wait. So the special guest at my first night, which was on Thursday, November 14th, um, was Seth Rudetsky. He is the host of Sirius XM's like Broadway radio station. And he made a post the night after his show special guest starring role on the show where he's divulged that his special guest starring on a show has led to the cancellation of 3 other shows before the Rob Lake one. And shortly after saying that he would do the Rob Lake Magic show that I would attend, they announced the news that the show would be getting canceled.
That's
Um,
Holy
wild.
shit.
this guy, send your
So
hate mail.
yeah, it was really funny. That guy was really funny too, because when the guest walks up to the stage to meet Rob, I don't remember if this happened on your night, but I think on my night with Seth, Rob asked Kermit, he was like, "Oh, aren't you friends with Kermit the Frog? Like you probably know him." And Seth was like, "No, not really." And then Kermit on stage literally went like he, it was so funny.
That is really funny.
It
No,
was
I don't know
good.
Kermit.
Yeah, then
What?
so what do they do? What's their special thing? Is that when they make a
They have like an oversized deck of cards, and they make the
yes.
guest pick a card, and then they shuffle it, and it levitates by itself out of like the big card box, showing it's their
Yep.
card. And then right after that, Rob is like, "Look, Kermit, let me take a picture with your phone of us with the guest." They take a picture, and then after they take it, Rob's like, "Oh, Kermit, your phone's ringing." Um, Kermit's like, "Okay, can you answer it?" And it's Miss Piggy on FaceTime that appears
Yep.
on the jumbotrons.
That's
Uh,
that's a fun segue.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it really
and
was. Yeah.
and
That's
there's more to the
cool.
magic trick because they talk for a minute and they're saying like, "Oh, Miss Piggy, I hope you can come to the show." And she's flirting with Rob Lake, which was amazing to
She's like, I'm
see.
shopping on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, yeah. And
As you
then
would.
Rob's basically like, "Miss Piggy, check your purse," and it's the card that
The card
they
that was
picked here.
chosen by the guest.
And it's on fire, right? Or it's
Yeah, it's
smoking.
also on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's on fire.
For magic.
Yeah, for magic. And then they're like, okay, we'll see you soon, hopefully. And they hang up. Um, and then they do a couple more non-Muppet tricks, right? Which then
Yes. So
leads
there's the
to,
water trick. There's also the
oh
one with
yeah,
the kid in the coloring book. So they have a
yeah,
coloring book that's for sale at the merchandise stand, which we'll go into later.
hmm
But they bring a kid up on stage, one of the children from the audience, and they basically have him touch the book and make colors appear on the coloring book page. It's really cute. I remember seeing that at a
it was.
magic show when I was like a really young kid, and it was one of my favorites because it's like a really cool trick. And I mean, if I could buy the book as a child at the gift store at the magic show that I went to, I probably would have that book, but
Yeah.
I didn't. But they had the book at their gift store, gift shop at the magic show we went to.
Did you buy it?
So no, I did not. I we'll
Damn.
get into what we bought later.
Okay.
But yeah, what else was there? I want to say there
He
was the
does like a,
water.
yeah, the water trick and then the
There was a
floating
very
box
Las Vegas coded water trick where he makes a woman levitate
to
and
the
there's
beat of
water that
music.
shoots him.
There
Yeah,
there's like a song that's integral to it. And then
and
they
then he puts a ring on fire through her to show
yeah,
that like
Show the
she's
magic.
levitating. Yeah, it's
Holy
cool.
shit, Rob.
um and
Wow.
then it the curtain like the after those tricks, the curtain opens and it's Kermit and Rob and they're like in a
Miss
dressing
Piggy's
room.
dressing room.
Yeah. And talking about like how much they had like a good time working together. Um and saying how much they wish that Miss Piggy could be here. And Rob's like, oh well, maybe we can make a little bit of magic happen. And they lower the curtain in the back behind them for a minute, and then the curtain comes up, and it's this massive pile of luggage with Miss Piggy
In
sitting on
shopping
top,
bags.
That would
which
And
make
gets
Miss
the
Piggy
sense.
biggest
She
shopping
does
applause
bags.
have
out of the
those.
whole show.
Oh yeah, it
Like,
is
Oh,
like
people go
as she
feral.
it is
should.
the moment.
As
Right.
it should.
And she talks with them for a few minutes. I don't think she doesn't even come off of the luggage or anything. She just sits up there for a minute with them. And then they close the curtain on them again. And Rob does his last trick, which is the motorcycle trick. Which Joe, you need to be the one to explain the motorcycle trick. This
All
is like
right, so
This is the one I've been waiting for.
Rob summons babes in
Of course
decked
he
out leather
does.
motorcycle gear. I'm not even joking. They're in
How
high
many
boots
babes?
and like short,
At least
short
two.
leather shorts. At least two. Well, and
But
three
I think
toward
more.
the end. Sam, you must know that
Yeah,
there's three at the end because they do the whole walking thing.
they simply
But
yeah.
Rob puts on a motorcycle helmet and brings out a motorcycle and gets on he brings out two women who help him too, and then he puts a sheet up and brings out a third, and then he walks over to the motorcycle, gets onto the motorcycle, rides it over. It rises up, the motorcycle rises up, and then the women walk forward, they point at
Mm.
the audience and then they point at Rob and then they walk back and then boom, the motorcycle explodes and then Rob appears behind the audience in the orchestra seats and the women go like that and they go from that to that and then
And
boom, there's
everyone
Rob
freaks
Lake
out.
behind. Everyone freaks out.
Freaks out.
How did he do
However,
that?
Yeah, there was
there's
a
an
big
issue.
asterisk.
There is an issue with that finale in that
Don't
where
spoil the
Rob
magic.
where Rob appears after teleporting in the motorcycle is underneath the mezzanine. So
So if you're in the
so if you're in the mezzanine, you can't see where he appeared. You only have the jumbotrons to go
Oh,
off
right.
of. So if
Which
you're down below, you can literally see him boom boom. Oh
you
my
turn
God, there
around
he
and he's there.
is. You turn around and
Magic
there he
Robert.
is. But if you're on the mezzanine, if you turn
The
around,
whole
there's no
the
one
whole
there, and it's just the
yeah.
TVs, and you just see him run onto stage afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so
And
when
let
I
me
was on
just
the
say for
mezzanine
being in the
seats, sorry, yeah, go
being in
for
the
it.
mezzanine for the first night, not knowing what that was what the trick was gonna be, it is a very like
It's a gut punch, low key.
lackluster way to end the show when you can't see the payoff of the illusion, you know?
Of the
Yeah,
Which
penultimate
like
illusion,
obviously
yeah.
the Broadway theaters are not very big. Where are you gonna do it? I
Oh
understand.
yeah, exactly.
But
That's the
it's
thing too.
Oh, well, that's a little bit tragic,
somebody
but it
said
still sounds like a fun, like, ending trick. So that sounds like the show was kind of a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, and we've already said this multiple times. Like it, it was a really cool experience, and I'm glad that we got to see it. Glad that the Muppets made it to Broadway. It could have been better, obviously, but
Yes.
you have to remember like how much work people put into this. The people behind the scenes, Rob, the puppeteers, Peter Linz, everyone that put work into this, it really showed, even if it wasn't the product that we thought it was going to be in the beginning.
Well, I mean, it's one of those kind of things where you don't really know how good we had it because I know the amount of people who were kind of putting off like going to see it or like maybe seeing it over December or seeing it like over January. I don't think we realized just what we had like on our hands until it was like slipping away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really glad. I genuinely was like really worrying me quite a lot that like a lot of you guys weren't going to be able to go and see it. And so I'm glad that sort of like all of our pals or most of our pals got the chance to go and like see it with your own eyes before we
Yeah.
inevitably like hound one of our friends who recorded a bunch of it. Not saying who, just not to incriminate them, but just know I'll be hitting you up for that slime tutorial later. So you gave us a
I
pretty
mean,
good.
the Muppets. He brought magic to the Muppets and the Muppets to Broadway.
Oh my
And for that,
God. It's got
we
the
love
Muppet.
you, Rob Lake.
What?
It says the Muppets on a Broadway ticket, and really you can't put a
Mm-hmm.
price on that except for the price that the ticket cost.
Right.
Like, Rob Lake wasn't what we were expecting for a Broadway Muppet thing. But like for it to close so soon, it does feel really sad. It doesn't feel like it deserved
It
that.
does.
It's like, like I did like even if you didn't like the show, even if you thought it was doomed to fail, even if you thought like I agree that like all credit to the people who involved to like make this thing happen, the people who took time out of their careers to put this show on. But like so many people are like just didn't even give it a chance. And I think like I
Right.
wish it was given at least a more than a like week long run basically to get
Exactly. And
like its show the feet off the ground. And I want to point out a thing real quick that it's like Noel McNeil, we keep talking about him. He's doing Little Shop of Horrors on Broadway right now, and he took time off of that to go do this. I'm like
Mhm.
Muppets Rob Lake Magic Broadway. And like I feel like it's these people really felt dedicated to this project.
Yep. Um, and another thing about it that makes me sad about it closing, obviously being biased as a Muppet fan, but like there aren't any other things like that on Broadway right now. Like there's
And
no
there
other
aren't
show,
any
there's no other
coming.
puppetry, there's no other
Nothing's coming
show that
soon. I
you
mean,
could take your kids to see. It's cheaper than
aside
other
from
shows.
one-off shows that do occur and they're amazing and they're really fun and but the
Right.
tickets sell out and so I have to watch it
Yeah.
on streaming, but that's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, like there's no other option. It's actually funny you mentioned that because I actually got a few Insta ads for I think another Broadway magician, which I didn't, if I'm being
How
completely
dare you
honest,
say
like I may
that?
be ignorant for saying this, but like I didn't think was a thing.
Right.
I thought this was a very unique and new thing. And that's
Same. I
also a
didn't
part
really know
of
about
why I
that.
was really excited for it and enjoyed it.
Right. I honestly think the biggest thing that brought it down is just obviously like you can't not realize what's going on in the world right now. Not a lot of people have extra money for Broadway in general. Even though this show is cheaper than a lot of other things out there, like not everyone can afford to either travel to New York or even if you live in New York like me, like you can't always swing doing that. So it came at a bad time on top of people not having the right expectations for it and slandering online because it's not 100% the Muppets. Like those were really big contributing factors. And it was packed closing night, but when I went, which was the second preview night, it was a really, really light audience. And that was a big thing that a lot of people were seeing in their shows, which is sad.
Yeah, I wish people gave it more of a chance, and I wish I had more time to like figure out the kinks. And like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that as we described earlier in the podcast, like it's not either or. It's not like this show or no Muppets doing shit. It's like this can still
Yeah.
happen. It can still be this cute little thing. And I agree that it's like shit's so expensive, things are getting so out of whack, and it's so crazy, and people, it's hard to just like either afford to go to a thing like this or like make time in like people's busy lives to go to something like this. And
Mhm.
I just feel like everyone involved like understood the cost and the time that people were taking out of their lives to go here. And like, I don't know, it's just, I think it unfortunately came at like a hard time. And I think like, I think maybe this can have a second life somewhere else. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the end of Rob Lake Muppet. Maybe we'll have Rob Lake Muppet Resurrection.
On
Like,
tour.
like onto, hey,
I'd
maybe
go
we'll like send that shit to fucking Branson, Missouri. I don't
bring it to
know.
the West End. I'd go and see it.
Dude,
I never get
great.
to go to the West End.
All
So did
right.
you know that there was a merch stand? Sorry.
Well, obviously, so you told us like pretty much every element of the show except for one glaring element, and it's an element that I'm invested in as well because I didn't know if anybody caught on to it, but I'm actually sporting a really gorgeous piece here that
Wait a
is
second.
the Rob Lake Magic with Special Guest The Muppets enamel pin. Absolutely stunning
Wow.
piece of apparel.
That's
Mine
Max,
is a
you're
insane
Rob
because
Lake
wearing you're
Muppet.
I'm
wearing
currently wearing
Supreme. You're officially
the
outdressing all of us.
Rob Lake with Special Guest
No.
The Muppets sweatshirt. I've been wearing
Hmm.
it the whole time.
What the
What? It says
freak?
all the things we've been saying. Rob Lake and the Muppets.
That's crazy.
I
I've
love
been
Anyways,
Rob
wearing it the
Lake.
whole time.
okay, so
Also,
we whoa,
Sam,
The
Sam's
he's
is
Rob Lake
wearing
and
the
the Muppet
shirt.
shirt.
robbing
It's
Rob
like
Lake
Rob
on
Lake's
a
in the
shirt. He's so
universe.
handsome. Oh my God.
Rob Lake
Look at
Magic
these
shirt.
handsome video audio watchers. We have shirts with Rob Lake's face on them.
his
And
gorgeous,
they're
And look,
stunning
he's
face.
reaching out to the audience. It's an integral
gorging,
part of his branding.
He's reaching
literally
out.
doing the Rob Lake
When
pose with Kermit and Piggy.
name
So
a bigger moment in your life than us obsessing over the pose and then seeing the merch, and the merch is him doing the pose.
Yeah.
actually
Could
fucking
not have been
insane when I
better.
saw that drop.
Yeah.
So, elephant in the room. A lot of us are Muppet collectors, so we, for the longest time, were wondering, are we gonna get a decent merch deal from this? And it turns out we absolutely did. There was a pin. There was a pin set, I want to say.
For
Beautiful. We got a
visual audio
visual
listeners,
demonstration.
the audio listeners, the pin sets are being shown on screen. So if you want to see what they look
Mhm.
like, you can check out the video
So
podcast.
after you've listened
But
to this in
Here's the
its
plastic.
entirety, go and watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
yeah,
Um,
if you're listening, it's just Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy, and Gonzo. And on the back, they have the official Disney pin thing.
Yes,
So
it was
this
like
was this
official product as well,
these
which
are
is like
official Muppet Studios products.
Muppet
very
Studios
Um,
fun
exclusive.
collab. Obviously, we
exclusive
had
to
apparel.
Rob Lake Magic with Special Guest The Muppets.
We had the shirts, we had the hoodies, as you've so wonderfully modeled for us.
Oh my gosh,
Little
the magnet.
A
Oh my God,
magnet,
with his gorgeous
which actually
facial hair.
Magnet.
I'm just gonna put this back where I keep it now. Stays right there
He's right
on
up
my
in our
shelf.
faces.
Yep, he'll
What
always be
else?
there.
So there
Watch
was
Broadway
him.
some
looking.
like Rob Lake specific
No, wait, before that.
items.
There's also a
Oh,
poster.
I wish
There's
I got
also
the
a
Oh,
poster.
poster.
the poster. It's
And the
so
poster
gorgeous.
apparently they only got the poster on Thursday when I got there, when I
Wait,
went.
look how
yeah.
who signed these?
So I
Oh,
got
the
mine signed
sig
by Rob himself, and then
wow.
that's Noel McNeil, and
Oh,
there's Peter Linz's signature. So I got a
so
really nice little poster right
What a
here.
little trio.
it makes me so happy that Joe showed that because obviously the merch is like a cool thing to talk about. But the thing I'm really wanting to hear in this kind of like as we're getting closer to the end of this podcast, you guys got to meet so many of the people involved in the show after the ding darn show.
Yeah, we
I
stage
need to
doored
hear
both
about this.
times we were there. But there's also one other thing, right, Will?
One
One other
other
piece of
Yeah,
thing.
merch
one
you
other
maybe
piece of
wanted to
merch before
highlight?
we get into that.
Some kind of like Rob Lake specific merch?
Was it I'm actually not, are we talking about the wand?
Whoa!
I didn't know you
Presto!
had a
It is
wand.
the Rob Lake Magic live on Broadway wand. These
Oh
were
my
sold
God.
out when I went on the closing night, and our friend
Mhm.
Shelby got the last one. But
Oh
but
my
this,
God.
as well as the coloring book shown in the show, as well as an entire magic kit,
Wow.
was available
That's insane.
That's
For
kind of
sale at the gift shop.
a stacked merch table, to be fair. Like
Yeah.
what could have
And
just
good
been
prices.
for what could have just been like just the Magic Kit and just the Magic Wand, they did make an effort to make some Muppets merch, which I feel like they knew who they were catering to. So I appreciate that much for a merch table.
Audio listeners are
We're
missing
getting,
out on some fantastic wand action with this Rob Lake magic wand.
I'm being utterly dazzled by Joe and his magical prowess at this time.
Taught by the Rob Lake.
Whoa. Oh my goodness me. He's twirling that thing around like it's nobody's business. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have had some testimonies from two attendees at great length, but there were a lot more of our friends who attended that we would have loved to have had everybody on, but it quite frankly would have been a horrifying free-for-all of everybody trying to get a word in. So we have these wonderful little video submissions from some of our pals who got to see Rob Lake Magic on stage. Take it away.
Hi, Will. Hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
We're here to
Muppet moment conversation.
Moment, about how we felt the magic at Rob Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went twice.
Whoa, hey guys.
Oh my God, who's
Oh my
that?
God, wait, I'm supposed to be in this episode.
Oh my
Here,
God. How did you get over
I'll
here?
leave this for you guys.
Oh,
I'll
what?
leave
Oh my
this for you guys.
God. Rest in peace, Rob Lake. We miss you so much.
Sure.
Yeah, so I went 2 times. You went
Four
4
times.
times.
I saw it the
Yeah.
second night of previews, and then
Nice.
3 times in 1 week when it was closing.
I saw it in previews, I think like the first week, the day after Halloween, and then I saw it on closing night with
Yeah.
all of our buddies. So I think closing night is what they want to hear about.
Yeah.
So it was really great. I got into the city around noon. I met up with Aisling and Shelby, and then we met up with Sam and Michaela and Chris, and we all went to Rockefeller Center. We saw Wicked costumes. We went to the Disney store because they just got a bunch of new Muppet pins. And when we walked into the Disney store, they were playing a Muppet song. So it was great. It's like they knew we were coming. And then we headed over to the theater and we started taking our Rob Lake levitating photos.
Yeah, very exciting.
Which was very fun. And then Joe found us after his rat backpack mishap. And then we went to John's Pizzeria, and then we went to the show.
Yeah, and that's around when
when you
I
joined.
gathered with them,
Yeah.
met them at the theater before the show, and we're ready and raring to go,
We were.
and descended upon the
The merch.
remaining merch,
The discounted merch.
the discounted
which was
merch that
amazing.
we were literally removing items
Yeah.
from the display.
Shelby took the last magic wand and they literally took it off the tray for her,
Yes.
where it was glued to the tray.
Yes, we also got
Amazing.
the last magnets for
Yeah,
people.
I got a pin set, and I remember when I was buying the pin set, the lady behind the table, she was like, "Are you sure that's all you want?" And I was like, "This is my second time. I'm good."
That is always the question, though.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, we were able to do all of that before the show started, and the show itself is a very fun time for
Yeah.
sure. To see the various tricks and illusions that Rob Lake Magic is well known for, like the
very
disappearing motorcycle.
Yes. The cutting a woman in half.
Yep.
And then also removing a woman's head from her body. Classics.
True. Yes.
While keeping her alive. That's the important part.
Yes.
And yeah.
Interspersed with
our besties.
beautiful Muppet experiences
Yeah.
of them in a taxi cab.
In a taxi cab.
And,
my favorite line from the show is right after the taxi cab crashes through the wall of the theater, and Fozzie goes, "Hey Kermit, that cowboy is dressed like you,"
yeah,
because of the naked cowboy.
exactly.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think we need to acknowledge that Kermit is naked more often, but
Yes.
it's great. What else happens?
Where are you right now?
We're at Sesame Place.
Yes. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah.
After the show, we met Rob Lake again.
In real life?
He was in real life, and he was so nice.
So nice.
I told him this was my second time, and he seemed like genuinely touched, which was so sweet.
I think he was tired of me by now.
He was like, "Oh God, you again." We all took a big group picture with him where we felt the magic. And
Sure
then we
did.
hung out for a little bit. We got to meet Noel McNeil from Bear in the Big Blue House. We got to meet Peter Linz from Bear in the Big Blue House, The Muppets, and now Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Peter Linz became Sam's father while we were talking to him.
Yep. Just like that.
Just like that. It was it was magic.
It was.
And that's all thanks to Rob Lake. So
Yes. It was a beautiful time. It was really
amazing.
excellent to hang out
Yes.
and
Everyone was so sweet.
have a
We met
wacky
lots
fun
of
time.
really cool people. And even though it was very sad, I think we were all really happy because we were hanging out together.
And we also got to say hi to puppeteer Sebastiano Ricci as
Yes.
well, who got us some of us our comp tickets. So big shout out to Sebastiano Ricci.
Yeah.
He was excellent. And just overall a short-lived show that I think brought a lot of joy to at least a important subsection of people.
I think everyone who went probably had at least a little bit of a good time.
Exactly.
Especially when the Muppets were on stage.
For sure.
Which was not a lot of the show, but it was enough.
A lot of hooting and hollering happened.
Enough hooting and hollering happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, the Muppets were in it more this time than the first time I saw them.
That's true.
Because I saw it in previews and they did not come out for bows and previews. And when I went this time, there they were.
And Piggy and Kermit ride on a motorcycle,
The
which is always...
Fozzie blows kisses to the audience from his little balcony
It's pretty
seat.
cute. Yeah.
I mean, lots of other stuff happened, but I think we'll let Sam talk about going up on stage.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was it. And then we went to Bubba's.
Yes. Gotta round it out with Bubba Gum Shrimp.
Yeah. An amazing night. So, thank you, Rob Lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will catch you, I don't know, on a Disney cruise or in
At
Vegas.
the next Broadway show he creates illusions
Yes.
for, you know. Maybe they'll put him on the new Muppet show. Who's to say?
Oh, that would
Fingers
be fun.
crossed.
Hi, my name is Michaela. My handle on Instagram is @McMups, and I attended the final showing of Rob Lake Magic with Special Guests The Muppets on Broadway. My friends and I have become pretty unapologetic Rob Lake fans. We met him at the walking tour of Central Park during Jim Henson's birthday weekend, and since then we've just become very excited about Rob Lake's show. And we wanted to go in December. We had tentative plans to go at the beginning of December. But once the show was announced to be canceled, we rallied to get there for the closing night. It was truly a magical experience, pun intended. Was it the best show I've ever seen on Broadway? Absolutely not. But I did have a really good time. I really believed in magic when I saw it on the stage. I wasn't thinking about how the tricks were done or the technical effects that went into it. It was just me and the magic. I really felt immersed in everything. The one thing I was disappointed about was that every trick that he did was stuff he's done before. He made a quip towards the end, like, oh, if you want to see more, look at my stuff on YouTube. But most of the tricks you can see on YouTube were stuff he did in the show. I wish he did something that was more original just for Broadway, because it would have been really cool to see. The Muppet segments were very short, and I do wish there were more of them. But the ones that we did get were really cool. And sometimes I thought it was a little anticlimactic. Like, when I heard Gonzo was being shot out of the cannon, I thought he would be, like, actually shot out of the cannon. It was a magic trick. He appeared in a box that was on the other side of the stage. And that was still so cool to see, though. Like, the Muppets on stage, like, those are them. They're real. They're right there. And so I was freaking out. It was a really good time. At the stage door, we got to talk to Rob. I ended up making him a Kermit that had, like, the leather jacket that he wears in a lot of his promotional photos, and he loved it, and it was so awesome to give it to him. I also got to meet Peter Linz and Noel McNeil, both of which were awesome, but Peter was very enthusiastic, spent a lot of time talking to us, and I know my friend Sam had a very special moment with him, so it was really cool to be there for it. I got the signed playbill, which was so awesome. I can't wait to get this framed on my wall, and seeing all the photos of the Muppets in the playbill, like, their photos that they made their debut. I could go on and on about this. It was truly a whirlwind of an experience since we did this so last minute, but I had the best time ever. And I'm so glad I get to talk about it, even if it's brief. Thank you, Will and Max, for giving me this opportunity. And I hope that you all enjoyed hearing about Rob Lake Magic.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Rob Lake Magic.
Rob Lake Magic with Special Guests The Muppets.
And special guest, Sam.
and
me.
And Chris.
Yeah.
Special guest, Muppet fans as well. Well, first, Rob Lake's Broadway debut, the Muppets Broadway debut, Sam's Broadway debut, and Muppet stuff, myself,
Chris's
Broadway debut. There's so many firsts at this series of shows. Just amazing. Besides me, and besides Sam, the regular show, I think my favorite part is the Muppet jokes are really well done. Obviously the magic's really well done too. The Muppet jokes are really good. Bob Fozzie, it's called me Bob Fozzie. Yeah, waka waka. That's good. The naked Kermit joke is good. Gonzo like hinting and kind of nudging his helpers. He's like, no, don't go over there, don't block me. I can't see you behind the cat. Over here. Like it almost seemed like they were ad-libbed, even though they were very much scripted. But that was great. The Muppet parts were very in character, on brand, and they were really, really nicely done. Other than that, obviously, my starring role, it's really Chris starring in Rob Lake Magic with special guests The Muppets, and also featuring Sam.
And also featuring Sam, of course.
So great.
Yeah, what was it like going on stage?
That was totally crazy. I was so unprepared for that. They throw a frisbee out to the audience, and I was seeing it come at me, and I was like, oh, I will try to catch this thing, and I couldn't even catch it. It went right in between Michaela and Sam's heads.
Yeah,
they were sitting right in front of me, and they came and like hit me in the chest. I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now. And I was so unprepared. I had my sunglasses attached. I don't know why I was even wearing sunglasses. They were inside, but I had my sunglasses attached, and I had a small beverage of my choice with me, so I brought that on stage with me as well. That's how prepared I was for my Broadway debut. But that was totally amazing. I got to go up there and touch the sets and make sure everything was real and legit, and not gonna have any trapdoors.
The illusion you were a part of was very much like the audience participation was integral for the illusion to be pulled off. Like, what was it like being that close to like the platform that he eventually like kind of burst?
I was actually kind of shocked at how well that illusion was pulled off, because I was sitting right there. I was standing right there. And I'm looking over, and I'd been to the show once before, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. I'm like, how is he get this? There's a woman underneath the table, there's all this stuff. And sure enough, he pops out. But even more magical than Rob Blake appearing like that was I got to see off to the wings and see what's happening backstage. And I saw Gonzo getting ready to come out in the cannon with his handlers. I did not want to spoil the magic for people in the audience. I was like, F Blake, there's Gonzo! No, of course not. But I was like, that was like such a bizarre moment. Like, there's Gonzo is literally in the wings. So the whole thing was just amazing. And then as I got off stage, I didn't realize that Cheryl Henson and Richard Termini were sitting like 3 rows in front of us. So as I walked off the stage back to my seat, I'm like, there's Cheryl Henson, what you doing? I was like, hey, what's going on? It was so cool to see. And then when we left, we got to meet all the performers, and a bunch of Henson alumni were there too, like Raleigh Cruson. So it was really good to see just so many people that worked on the show. I knew a lot of these people in the past, but it's great to reconnect. So just such a cool experience. And with all you guys, that was just so cool.
It was so nice seeing you.
It was so awesome. It was just so good to see with everybody. It was so cool. Just such a great day.
It was a perfect day. A wonderful day spent in the city on Broadway.
I would even call it a magical day.
Wait, don't go. Minnie, Jeff Goldblum and I need to talk about the Rob Lake Magic show with you guys. Oh my god, he fell. Are you okay? Yes, guys, it's Aisling, aka Petrified Muppet here, with a tiny microphone that may or may not be plugged in. Guess you could say it's part of the illusion. Anyways, I am here to talk about the very last showing of the Rob Lake Magic show. I was lucky enough to go last Sunday with a few of my Muppet pals. It was a very fun time to see everybody. Let's get into the show. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's get into it. A few friends and I managed to go last minute. We were planning to go in December, but amidst the news that it was closing, we were like, frick, what do we do? How do we do it? And we managed to pull some strings and get together like the Avengers and see our baby boy Rob do his thing for the last time. So I thought the show was pretty good. I feel like the flow of it was very not, they were not entering flow state, so to speak. Love the Muppets Incorporation because, you know, for those who know Jim always wanted the Muppets to go to Broadway, so in some way they did, and I thought that was amazing. It was so cool to see live Muppets in front of my face like that. Very interactive with the crowd. Our friend Sam ended up being on stage for a good chunk of the show, and it was just an amazing experience. Rob brought us all together, which was also amazing. We got to meet him after the show at the stage door. I was lucky enough to walk out with a playbill signed by Rob Lake, Noel McNeil, Peter Lintz, and Stoffy. And I don't know how to pronounce the last name, I'm so sorry. But those were some of the puppeteers, and of course Rob Lake. For the show, everybody who was in the show was very sweet, very welcoming, very easy to talk to. So I had a wonderful time at Rob Lake Magic. I'm very sad to hear that it, is no longer here with us and didn't get the full time it deserved, but I thought it was a beautiful show, and I left with a bunch of amazing goodies. I left with this beautiful t-shirt, the playbill, beautiful, stunning Rob Lake Magic pin with the Muppets and cards on it that I need to hang up. I also got a magnet as well as a cup that I found on the ground. I did wash it in the dishwasher a couple times. Don't judge me. Again, RIP to Rob Lake Magic. I did have a wonderful time, and as he says, Muppets make magic, and yes, they do.
Thank you, everyone, for talking about your magical experiences at Rob Lake Magic on Broadway, featuring special guest star The Muppets. It's so cool that so many of our friends were able to experience the last day. A lot of people win multiple times, and I'm sure they talked about that. Is that like seeing all of them on the last day together warmed my heart so much, because it's like, as much as the show ended so quickly, and there's a lot to say about that, I'm so happy that us as like a group of little Muppet fans, these people packed the house out, and they like really came and like gave their all and gave the passion for it, and that made me super happy. And seeing them all in a group together, they all got to meet outside of the show after, and that's when they met some pretty cool people.
Honestly, seeing all of those photos from that last night genuinely like got me super emotional. Like I love seeing our funky little community come together and just sort of like bask in our love for this stuff, because like we truthfully, as much as we have come to be fond of Mr. Lake and his feats of magic, we were there for the Muppets. We showed up for the Muppets. We came for the Muppets and we stayed for the lake.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lovely thing that we all united for something, even though it was short-lived, which we can remain sad about until the end of time. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes things are not beautiful because they last.
True. Beautiful. And I'm glad that our friends got to experience it. And I gotta quickly hear what it was like meeting Peter Lintz and all these people.
Peter was so nice. He was when I went on the preview night, he didn't come out of the stage door. He just kind of stood in the doorway. But this time he was out in the crowd with all of us. A bunch of us like made stuff to bring. I made buttons and brought them for people in the show and for people that were there. And I gave them to him. He immediately put them on his jacket, which was so cute. And I have like the watch that Walter wears in 2011 Muppets. And I was wearing it in case I saw him, and I showed him. I was like, "Oh, I'm wearing the watch." And he went, "Oh," like the way that Walter does, that he yells in the movie. Oh
my God.
And
Amazing.
he called me his youngest son, which was very sweet. I don't know why he said that, but I was like, I'm for it. And he gave me like this, he like initiated a hug, which was awesome.
Oh.
And it was like the nicest, biggest hug. He talked to us. He was out there the whole time talking to us and other people that were there. And like signed whatever anybody wanted. He was just very welcoming and seemed to really appreciate the people that came out for it, It was great. He was so cool.
And Noel McNeil, that's amazing. Noel McNeil.
Mm-hmm. Joe, you met Noel too, right?
Yeah, I did. So I met him on Thursday. And yeah, I was so excited to, I just kind of kept it brief. A lot of the puppeteers that were outside, were either talking to family or talking to friends that were at the show. And me as just a fan and someone who wants to share kind, positive sentiment. You kind of have to gauge and kind of key into whether or not it's the right time for it. So, for us, it was kind of more of just like a hello, thank you so much for performing the show. We absolutely loved your work. I mean, we did try to ask and find out who they were puppeteering, but that was not info for the audience. So, and we actually didn't even find out the info. So, um, yeah, they were very good about being secretive about it. But
I
yeah,
think
you guys, right?
it might be safe to assume that Noel had something to do with Fozzie, considering that he signed everything Waka Waka.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Publicly, we don't know anything about.
That sounds like a reach.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, I might be just pulling at straws here, but like, might be something to it. Oh
Magic
goodness,
special guest star.
You get spells
I
cast
just
on me again.
I think it's really cool that you guys got to meet Rob at the end of the show.
And he
Yeah.
recognized us. He
Yeah. Well,
recognized
he
us from the walk. Whether or not
Joe has a
he
theory
knew
that me and him are the
me
same
and
person.
Sam are the same person or not. Because when I went to the show on Thursday, he was like, "You came back," and I was like,
Yeah,
"I wasn't
yeah,
here."
man.
I was flat out no. I literally told him I was like, "I wasn't here. I was on a work trip." I don't know why. Sometimes, see, that's the thing. He's like, you can prepare for any celebrity interaction you can, but nothing will stop you from being yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we got a kind of Great Muppet Caper situation here where Joe and Sam are clearly identical twins.
Identical twins.
Frog and bear.
Yeah. So it's conceivable that Rob could have switched the two of you up. But honestly, it's just like the
Right.
fact that you both got to have a fun and unique interaction with Rob in some way, with Joe feeling the magic at New York Comic Con and Sam getting to go up on stage. Wow, wow, wow. What a set of experiences.
I can't believe you guys like the Comic Con thing incredible. Like getting on stage at the last show, that is like I cannot believe that. Like that genuinely will still ring into me as like one of the craziest things that one of our friends got to do in regards to Rob Lake.
Yeah.
Those pictures and videos hit the group chat like a truck.
Again, like when I got the text that Sam was on stage, I was like, no fucking way. No way Sam is on stage at Rob Lake Magic featuring special guest star the Muppets.
Flabbergasted. Utterly, utterly flabbergasted.
I have to show one piece of Rob Lake merch that wasn't shown. The last piece of merch I have to show is from the one and only Shelby of Weird Puppet Girl.
Woo, Weird
Who
Puppet
made
Girl.
this art that was made into a magnet of the one and only Rob Lake Magic.
Whoa!
Oh my
Video
God.
watchers getting a treat. Audio listeners. Weird
Okay,
Puppet
wait,
Girl
hold on
make
though.
these.
Why does
He's
it?
Muppet of the
Why is it
Week.
exactly the same colors as the Janice one? Now that I see it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, this
God.
one she used the background from Rolf's week actually, because Rolf is his favorite.
Oh,
So this is literally the same one.
Muppet, so our Muppet listeners on the audio podcast, like you don't get you aren't able to see it, but it's basically those Muppet of the Week things, but like the things that gets posted on the Instagram for Muppet 70. But it's Rob Lake, it's Rob Lake Magic.
Rob Lake Magic. He's a Muppet of the Week in our hearts. Oh my goodness. Bless his heart.
So I just think Shelby killed that. That is just like that's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, Shelby
Absolutely.
kills it. When does Shelby not kill it? Like, come on.
Exactly.
True.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of Shelby, I think this is a good point for us to not just lay this podcast episode to the rest, but lay Rob Lake Magic with special guest The Muppets to rest. And the reason I bring up Shelby is because Shelby, with any luck, is going to be our guest for our next episode of A Muppet Moment. One that has been highly anticipated, and one that we've been working on for a hot minute, and we are very excited to have her on board. But I think we just need to take a bit of a somber minute just to think about, because for all that we have discussed about this show, I know it really did hit me on closing night. It is sad that it's going. And even though it wasn't the most perfectly conceived project ever, I like to think that there was some beauty in it.
It didn't last
Absolutely.
long. It didn't last long. I wish it was more given a shot. I think getting to see the Muppets on Broadway is a special thing, regardless of how long it lasted or how, like, people have their opinions of the show. We have two people here who had, there was certain tricks that didn't fully work out. However, like, it seemed like the people here who went had a good time. And like the photos I saw, it just seemed like people made a great time out of going to the show. And regardless of how you feel about Rob Lake, I I hope that Rob knows that we're hurting for him, and I just wish the show was given a little more. And I would love to hear the final thoughts from our special guests on this
Absolutely, yeah.
as we lay Rob's casket into the ground, not hymns, but the Broadway show into the ground. We have final thoughts. We call to the stand of the funeral, fucking our special guests.
Joe, you
brought
first.
my friends together one more time before the end of the year. And for that, I am super grateful.
Oh,
Well said. Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing that came out of this entire experience was this funny little thing for us to all bond over. This gave us like an anchor to always, if we have nothing else to talk about, we at least have Rob Lake with Special Guests The Muppets.
A certified Jackbox win every single time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it'll always be funny. It'll never not be funny.
Oh my goodness. What?
Rob has given us entertainment forever that we could never give. I honestly think, regardless if I'm like now like a big Magic fan or whatnot, like I do think Rob has given us like a lot of entertainment, and like I did not expect that when regardless of how you feel about the show, Rob has given us a lot of entertainment. And as we lay Rob Lake Magic featuring the Muppets special guest stars on Broadway to rest, I think we can all at least we got something out of it. And I'm glad Rob was there for at least a week to have special guest star the Muppets.
Whether ironic or unironic, we experience joy that we can never take that for granted.
We can never get that back. And as we kind of close out here, I would just love to give Sam and Joe to quickly plug their stuff. Get their shout outs in here before we officially close out this funeral.
I don't really have anything to plug. My Instagram is Muppetstateofmind. I guess if I'm plugging something, buy Michaela's crocheted stuff. Michaela at Nick Mupp.
Michaela
Buy them all.
loves.
I have 3 of them, and I'm gonna get more, so you should too.
And I just want to be clear, we'll put on the video, we'll put Michaela's thing on the screen as well as Sam's, but we'll put it in the description as well on both the video and the audio podcast. Mick Mups. Get them on Etsy right now. They're great.
And my name is Joe. I'm run the Muppetologee page over on Twitter and Instagram, and I don't usually hit myself in the face with a wand when I say that. I help out on the Weird Puppet Girl streams. I'm co-host for Family Feud. We're also working on a show for the end of the year. We have a date in mind, but we're not sure if we're going to announce it yet. But just stay tuned for something before the end of the year, because it'll be really, really cool and very fun and exciting. So yeah.
That is exciting. Love me a Shelby stream.
And yeah, buy a crochet from McMups. I need to do that too, actually.
And buy a weirdling from Shelby.
Yeah, and buy a weirdling from Shelby, yes. A Kermling or a weirdling.
This has been a Muppet moment encouraging you to purchase products, but products that were made by our friends.
But they're homemade products. They're not like corporation shit. This is
not
artists.
The only sweatshop in here is Shelby's Weirdling sweatshop.
The only sweatshop here is my pits when I'm wondering if Rob's gonna appear on the motorcycle again. And I'm like, oh God.
Oh my goodness. Well, on
Oh
that
no.
on that incredibly satisfying note, I will say goodnight. Thank you so much to Joe and to Sam for joining us as our special guest. And as always, this has been Will and Max of A Muppet Moment signing off. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, guests. Thank you, Sam and Joe.
Bye.
Bye.